Oh, once again, I've got Junkie's camera in the wrong place. All right, let's try that again.
That's a great start.
Yeah, thanks. I did actually, that was done in a way so that no one would ever see it on the recording, but I'm glad you laughed continuously and typed throughout the entire intro, ruining my illusion of having a smooth intro.
It's delayed, so we
Thanks, boys. Thanks for that. Finally, we've all rejoined to go over another juicy round of topics. Welcome to another edition of Let's Talk About. This time we're going to be talking about, well, quite a few topics, but the main one is going to be toxicity. It's a big thing in the video game world these days. It's been going on for a long time. There's been multiple posts about it. There's been videos about it. And I think it's about time that we digested the topic. So what I've done is I've gathered together a bunch of people who I thought would be good on the topic. And then when they couldn't make it, we ended up with these three instead.
Wow.
Bants.
Wow.
Bants. So let's just go around and introduce ourselves. Junkie?
I am the one, the only, the myth, the legend, the greatest person to ever grace SWTOR, Darth Junkie.
It's nice to see you still humble.
I know, I'm very, very humble, dude. Yeah.
And next up, you've got he filled in last time for Shaq, and he's filling in again for Shaq. So Cersei.
Hello, I'm Cersei. I play this game and stream it sometimes.
And he insists that he's not 50 when he's clearly fucking 50. 100%. And a new addition, a person we brought on specifically to talk about toxicity, not that he's an expert or anything, is Blenny. What do you want to be called? Is it Blenny, or Elmo? What's the...
It can be any one of the three, I don't mind.
Do you have a preference?
Well, I think Blenny, to be honest.
Blenny, okay. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Blenny.
Well, everyone thinks I'm toxic, but I'm really nice. I play PvP. I kick people who are trash and toxic. That's what you need to know.
So you would say that you're more of a fighter on the side of truth and justice?
Yeah, I'd say I'm a kicker, to be honest.
Maybe like a vigilante more than something else, yeah?
Yeah.
Because you've got to bear in mind that, you know, Batman is considered a hero by most, but in reality, he's a guy with lots of mental issues who goes around beating up the mentally ill. So would you say you're like the Batman of SWTOR?
I'd say I'm more like the Joker of SWTOR, to be honest.
I'm pretty sure he's fairly toxic.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm fairly sure. Okay, well, actually, this analogy works perfectly because he was born in a vat of toxic chemicals. So what you're saying is you're a byproduct of your environment.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's the classic nature versus nurture argument.
Pretty much, yeah.
We go in deep early, boys. We go in deep. What classes do you main? All that kind of jazz.
I don't really have a main, to be honest. I just play what I want to play when I want to play it. I don't care if people say I'm bad. I just play for fun.
Sounds toxic already. What are you playing at the moment?
I was kind of farming Tessa on Sork Healer and carrying Shekshas, but it's
not
kind of
toxic. Proceeds to give himself a parallel to a fucking supervillain, and then says he farms people out of the fucking queue.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's a good start, mate. It's a good start. The ego is big, yeah, fucking right. All right, boys, let's dive into this because we do have quite a lot to go through, and I know some of the Germans want to be doing team rank tonight, so. We're going to go through an overview of what's going on, and then we're going to dive into the specific posts from the Bioware devs. There's been quite a few. There's been 3 posts mainly, but there's quite a lot to chew through with all of them. There's quite a lot of implications for all of them as well, so it'd be interesting to get all your takes on it. So first of all, let's just do a quick roundup. What are our thoughts so far on season 13? And Blenny, seeing as you and Neil, let's go with you.
I mean, I think it's been pretty shit. But I think it could be a lot worse, to be honest.
Okay, so why do you think it's been pretty shit?
Well, the lack of the 306 gear requirement is being kind of a sore thumb into the entire solo rank community. You've got people who queue in the second they get Valor 25 on new accounts who are just absolutely shattering the queue and making it basically unplayable. You've got constant vote kicks, which I fully admit I'm a part of, but it's a necessary evil sometimes. And I guess that's about it. That ruins it for me.
Okay, what about you, Sarah C? I mean, I know we talked about this last time, but any changes in opinion?
I guess I'm here for the positive part then.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, I think it was good so far. We're 2 months in, and I think many people are losing the hype, myself included. I'm kind of back into Hearthstone, but yeah.
You and
Solar
Chili queuing up
Solar
together.
ranked, yeah, exactly. You syncing. I mean, Solar ranked has issues, but I mean, it's still fun, right?
Yeah.
Until you get burned out of it. So that's my take.
Junkie?
You know, I'm gonna be the actual positive one here.
Oh my god.
I know. I mean, the games are games, right? But like, the game is what you make it, and I've been having a lot of fun playing. Like, whether I win, whether I lose, I've had a lot of fun recently. I feel like I've got a new love for the game, and I'm actually really enjoying solo ranks, regardless of going in, getting globaled, or winning the game handsomely. Like, I don't care. Like, I just play the game and have fun now.
I give you 2 weeks, then you go depression again.
I'm honestly surprised by this, because I was watching your stream, like, I don't know, 10 days ago, and you were fucking molding over everything.
Yeah, no, like the last, you know, when I came in here and like we had the debate about matchmaking.
Yeah.
It made me really think about what I say and what I do, and like I've taken a like kind of a back seat on just going ham on everything and everyone and blaming everything and everyone and the devs, the game, and whatever. And I'm just taking a fresh look from things, and I'm starting to actually enjoy just doing what I want to do and just playing the game.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
A mature and wiser junkie. It's a bit like when Gandalf returns. He was Gandalf the Grey, but I guess you'll be Junkdalf the Blonde.
That will be very true. Very, very true.
Okay, so one point I wanted to kind of get out of the way before we went into the actual topics, and again, there's going to be some crossover here, I think, but what changes do we feel are the highest priority at the moment, and why do you think those changes are the highest priority? And I'll throw that across to the new boy, Blen.
Cross-guard and healer games, especially with power techs. I agree with Junkie that the 50% damage reduction is way too little. Because, like, you still get massive amounts of damage from power techs. As Azer just messaged me, desync. Desync is a huge one. Like, for example, in that game me and Junkie had earlier, he leapt across the map and then he was in, like, 3 different places on the map at once. Probably the emergency power set, especially in healer games, is kind of shocking at the moment. It just makes power techs like almost unkillable and like still with massive damage output.
So basically the summary would be power techs for you then?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, and Cersei?
You said the most impactful changes.
The highest priority, the ones that you'd like to see with the highest focus on them, right? In terms of timeline.
Honestly, backfill and decline improvements. Like, that there is no tank and healer mismatch anymore. Like,
okay.
That's probably one of the most frustrating ones, and it's good that it's getting changed.
All right. Well, we're going to go into the first topics then, because, like I said, there's quite a lot to go through. And this touches on what Blenny was just saying for sure, and Junkie to agree, which is the guard changes. So for anyone who wants to see the thread about the guard changes, there's a link in chat for you. But to give you a summary of what it is, while active, the guarded player takes 5% less damage and generates 25% less threat. In addition, so long as you remain within 50 meters of the guarded player, 50% of all incoming damage from enemy players is transferred back to you. You deal 50% less damage while guarding. Now, just for context, the 50% less damage while guarding is a DPS specific thing. It does not affect like tanks. If your tank's back, it's just for DPS. So let's throw this across to Blaney, because I know you play PowerTech a fair bit. How do you feel about this change?
Well, I mean, from what's been tested on the public test server, is like currently not working as intended on PowerTech, and it's still got the same like damage output. With jugs as well.
When you say it's not working as intended, are you sure that it's not working as intended?
Probably. But
I can dive into that a little.
Yeah, sure.
In this game, there are many, like, how do I word that correctly? But like, damage reduction, for example, is not the same as damage taken reduced.
Yes.
Okay, that's not the same thing. Like, I learned that in PvE, and it was super confusing, but it's an actual difference, and
it's when the percentage
here.
is applied.
Yeah, exactly. And all these applications, sometimes act very inconsistent or unintuitively, and that's the same thing with like the PT, or the same way it is with guarding right now. So that means some abilities, like energy burst or discharge, will hit for more than you would intuitively think they should. So when it says you deal 50% less damage while guarding, these abilities might hit almost as hard as usual.
Yep, so to clarify this, Felix Lyala did some tests. He put a post on Discord this morning that said, so I did a few tests this morning, and as expected, the damage reduction from guard is a flat minus 50% damage applied to all abilities. However, Energy Burst has a plus 350 bonus damage at 4 stacks, so it will only do plus 300% at the end. A 70k Energy Burst becomes a 63k Energy Burst. So because of the way that it's added on, it's not like the total is halved. It does not necessarily work the same way that you think it will, which is quite a big difference.
And also, even with the current meta of guards from DPS, like the job of the person guarding as DPS isn't really to deal damage, rather just to keep your teammates alive. So a damage reduction isn't really striking at what the actual problem is. Like, especially in terms of Juggernauts can just still leap around and get loads of enraged defenses, whilst guarding PowerTech you'll be doing full damage.
Yeah. Okay, so what are your overall thoughts on the change then?
Not enough.
Not enough? Okay. Cersei?
We'll have to see. But I can also see the not enough part very well.
We'll have to see. You're German, aren't you, Cersei? Because the way you talk, I would have sworn you were Swiss.
Oh, I'm German, but yeah, like I'm always a friend of small changes and then see how it works, and then 1 month later change more or less.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the. Well, it's balance. I mean, the way that I've always kind of described it is, if you imagine you're trying to balance something, you don't chuck a massive weight on one side and then see if it's the same. You do it incrementally to see until, is it more or less where you want it to be, and then you tweak it further. Whereas this game historically balances with a fucking sledgehammer.
So they went one route of, or one way of changing it, and it's not necessarily my favorite one, but it addresses the right direction. So we will see.
Yeah, I think the big takeaway for me was at least it's something. It's a step in the right direction. And
yeah, exactly.
BioChris, the corrupted dev, seems to be trying everything possible to make these changes, which is pretty good. But in terms of the practical implications of the change, Junkie, what outcome do you think they were trying to shoot for with this particular change? And do you think that it achieves it?
I mean, what they're trying to achieve is to stop DPS from guarding for, whatever reason. Like, that guy's taking damage, I'll put guard on him. That guy's taking damage, I'll put guard on him. But unfortunately, it's not going to have the desired effect, in my opinion. Like, I could be wrong. Maybe it will have the desired effect. But me personally, I'll play a Jug or I'll play a Sin. I've got a PT on my team. Just throw guard on him. I win the game. Like, PT's not gonna die, and the PT's gonna do all the damage. I don't actually have to be in the game to do damage. I mean, I hope that it's as we all say, like a stepping stone in the right direction. I'm not gonna be super negative about it. I mean, hopefully it's just a step, and then eventually we get round to what actually needs to be done, and that's guard just removed from DPS.
So one thing that I thought was strange about this was it was given as a reason to not touch Forcebound. Like they thought that the guard change would be enough to mitigate the absolute AIDS that is the Forcebound set. What are your thoughts on that one, Junk?
Well, when it comes to Forcebound, like I'm actually slowly siding with the devs that okay, so my problem with Forcebound is people overuse it, and they use it wrongly, in my opinion. Like, okay, so like I play Jug quite a bit now. I play Mara too. For me personally, I don't use Forcebound unless I see at least 2 operatives or 2 PTs on the enemy team.
Yeah.
That's the only time I'm going to use Forcebound. Personally, I will use the DPS set on, Mara and Jug, in any other scenario. I feel like people overuse Forcebound, and therefore people are thinking, oh, it's OP, it's super strong. But the amount of times I've seen teams of 3 or 4 Maras with Forcebound lose because they don't have the damage. They're giving up a lot of damage from the DPS set to use that Forcebound set.
So I'll give you my incredibly biased operative opinion on Forcebound,
okay,
right?
yeah.
Because I think I'm cucked more than any other class by Forcebound.
100%.
For me, it isn't so much of a like efficacy thing. It's not that it's it shuts me down. It does. I agree that that's a bad thing, but it's more that I have to go prolonged periods of time being unable to play the game because they press one button that I have no way of really counterplaying. The only way I can counterplay it is roll at the same time or not be near them, which is very unlikely.
Yeah.
I had a game with 2 Jugs and a Mara, all with Forcebound. A full round of 5 minutes. I could pretty much do nothing other than spam probe for over half of the fucking game for 2.5 minutes. I don't have an issue with Jugs. I mean, I play Jug occasionally. I'm absolute dog shit on it, but I play it. I understand they need something which benefits them. I just think the mechanic behind it doesn't really work so well in practical gameplay. If they made it like 3 seconds and 100%, then I would have no issue with it. If it was cleansable, then I'd have no issue with it, or purgeable or anything like that. I'd have no problem with it. I just think the idea of putting something in the game which is unavoidable and completely decimates 2 classes which kind of have to play into it is just not a very good design. So I'm more against the design than I am the practical.
No, I can definitely
especially
see
with fucking Maras with obfuscate and that fucked me.
I can definitely see why being an op main, because I've been playing a lot of op recently as well, and I do understand how oppressive it really is as an operative, because you get Forcebound and you're literally out of the game for 6 seconds.
12.
12, yeah, because you sit for the CC and then they obfuscate. And like it's actually insane. Like you're just sitting there like, okay, what do I do now? But at the same time, I don't know if you remember, but in that game that you were just talking about, did you win or did you lose?
Oh, I don't remember. I'm sorry.
I'm
pretty sure I lost.
I mean, to be fair, double Jug with double Forcebound, you're probably going to lose because the off guards. I think that's the only reason why you lost that.
And also it's against me.
No, I don't think it's because I think it's probably the off guard that lost you the game, not the Forcebound. Because as I say, like using Forcebound, it's great if you're against multiple operatives or multiple PTs, but you lose a damn sight, a lot of DPS using that set.
I don't want to dwell on Forcebound for too long. It was more just the point that they were making the guard changes. It seemed to me by the way they worded it anyway that the reason was because of, well, it was certainly a factor with Forcebound.
Yeah, I mean, personally, me personally, like I kind of like side with the devs. I just think that it's overused, and that's why so many people are so upset at it. I don't feel like. Obviously, for an operative or a PT, it's very oppressive. You can't play your class, but at the same time, like they're sacrificing a lot more than what you think they are by using that Forcebound set. They are definitely sacrificing. by using the force bounds. So to me personally, it's a, you know, do I use it and sacrifice DPS or do I not? You know,
I'm not necessarily sure that I agree with you that they give up a great deal using it, because ultimately it ends in a win most of the time because of the shutdown factor. But I don't want to obsess with a force bound, because we've done this topic on the last one.
Yeah, definitely.
So the one thing I wanted to ask, and I guess we've actually had this conversation a few times before, but we'll do it again. We'll get Blenny's take on this one actually. So how would you have gone about trying to change guard?
I mean, I think a flat removal would probably work on DPS specs, to be honest, because like they don't really need it, to be honest. I don't really have any opinions beyond that.
So you just yeet it out of the DPS thing, make it a tank thing only.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cersei?
Like I think the way I would have done it is to change the damage taken on the guarded player down to like 30%, 25%, 20% maybe even. The problem with that is you need to as well like make a difference between tank and DPS, right? Because tanks should be able to save their team rates by 50% and DPS should not.
Yeah, I mean,
they are able to do that, right? So
this is something that we've discussed for that exact thing for a long time, is just changing the values for DPS versus tank, and like giving people a reason to actually be a tank rather than being. It's like one of the things that I don't know, man. I don't say it pisses me off, but one of the things that I always think of when it comes to the idea of guard is I think guard in itself is a very clever mechanic. I think it's good, because it makes tanks viable in the game. It gives them a specific role, it gives them something to do, and the difference between a good tank and a bad tank is fucking night and day in terms of, you know, the impact that they make is a huge difference, just swapping guard all the time. It's just, I don't know why they don't make it more of a tank specific thing. Like, why does it have to be a DPS thing? If you look at the meta for as long as I can fucking remember, to be honest with you, it's tanks in DPS gear and DPS trying to be scuffed tanks. It's like I don't think that fits into the, I say, like, you know, like the class fantasy, you know.
Like it's even better right now, or the last few years, than it was at 55. At 55, you had team ranked teams going in with 3 DPS because a Jug DPS guarding back then was
pretty much
sometimes better than the tank, and at least for the last 3-4 years, you have to play team ranked with tanks. That's one step in the right direction, at least.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just comes down to me, like, if you're playing a Juggernaut, you want to be this kind of like long-living Darth Vader style single lightsaber, plodding forward, having a good survivability whilst laying down some pain. You're not meant to be this like hyper-mobile damage mitigation class. It should be more about, in my opinion anyway, more about control and single target stuff. It isn't. It hasn't been like that ever, I don't think. You know, if anything, Mara is more like the Darth Vader class in the game in terms of how it works. I just think that Guard misguides how the classes are meant to be played. Like Sins, should Assassins be guarding? Like, should Deception be guarding? Because like right now, Deception's guarding is super fucking strong. Like, it's really good. But is that really, when someone rolls Assassin, does it say on the loading screen, oh yeah, you will be a guard bot? You know, it's like, that's not...
It's kind of bullshit that a class with double vanish, permanent vanish, and also gets it back quite fast, so they can have 3 vanishes in one round, that exactly this class is able to guard. That's... I don't know, man.
It's
I think one of the problems with it, though, is if you remove it in a vacuum, so if you just like delete guard, then those classes just become weaker. Yeah, it's just a flat nerf, obviously, if you remove it without giving them something else. I would just like them to spend some time thinking about how those classes should maybe work effectively in the game, rather than just being like, well, they've always had guard, they have a tanked spec, they should have something like it. I mean, maybe you can have, maybe you can change guard for DPS specs. You know, like taunt on DPS specs is a aggro drop.
I kind of disagree, because like I know what you guys are saying. Like, you know, Sins, you know, they have this guard, and you know, if you remove guard from them, like they need something else. I don't think they need anything else. Like sins are not terrible. I mean, they're not like top tier. But,
Sins are
like,
fucking top tier right now. You high.
Don't-
Sins are fucking brilliant.
no,
Don't get that discussion starting. All the sin mains are gonna maul.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't consider sins top tier. Like when it comes to, like, don't get me wrong, their versatility and their utility is amazing. It really is. The fact that they can guard is insane. But I don't consider them like. If I see 3 sins on the enemy team, I'm not like, oh no. If I see 3 ops on the other team, oh shit!
You like equip forcebound and ruin them all in one button. Yeah.
No. It's just like, get me out. Especially on my PT, it's like, get me out of this game. I don't want to be against 3 operatives. Although saying that today, I did global a lot of them. But anyway, moving on. But like, yeah. So like, I don't consider like 3 sins an oppressive force when I see it in a match.
Because guard isn't necessarily a stacking thing. If you could triple guard one player, then yeah, it would be better.
Yeah, but I don't think that they would need something in return for removing something they shouldn't have.
My kind of idea behind
Have
it
you
was,
ever been low slashed 3 times in a row on a sword?
Yes.
Hey, seriously, man, I played back when they had the unlimited range bug for low slash.
Low
I
slash,
was getting low slash defend in fucking East in Novari Coast.
Well, didn't they break it once where low slash had no cooldown? I swear that was a thing. Wasn't that a thing?
I think it had no range limits, and I think it had a cooldown. But I was literally...
there was a spammable bug as well. Like you can spam low slash.
It's always been so broken.
Yeah. But no, my idea was, why don't you make guard do something which is more specific to the actual spec that's doing it? So if you're a tank, we use Sin as an example. So if you're a tank, then yeah, it does 50% damage reduction, whatever. If you're Madness, maybe it's the person who you're guarding, their damage increases your dot damage, or some kind of mechanic around that kind of limit, or helps you regen energy whenever they take damage, or that kind of stuff. Like, there's ways you can make it still an applicable skill without necessarily tying it to DR. They've already done it to a bunch of other abilities, like Taunt is.
I'm 100% down for if you want to, weave it into some new ability, that it does something completely new, but as long as it removes the DR. 100%.
Okay. So the next question I had was, will DPS guarding still be an issue? So I'm guessing the consensus is yes, it will.
Pretty much.
Okay, so if they made it,
that's the question: is it an issue, or is it like a balanced feature now, right?
Well, I think the way that it's been worked out is a problem. The way that it's on the front end rather than the end is an issue. Because the test that Ayala did, where a 350% damage becomes 300%, it's obviously not how they intend it. So if they made it a flat 50%, so if you're going to hit for 100k, you hit 50k, would that then be an acceptable change?
No.
We will see.
For me personally, no.
We can see now, but I just don't think there's enough people playing the public test server to retest it.
See.
Well, my point is the way that it's working on the test server, I don't necessarily isn't the way that I'm describing it. So how it works in the PTS, what I'm saying is a flat 50. So no matter what damage you do, it's just literally halved.
Yeah, see, my problem with the whole guard thing, right, and not removing it from DPS, this is my sole issue, right? So you're playing a Sin or a Jug or even a PT, right? And you've got another PT on your team, and now this PT is gonna do 12, 15k DPS.
So not you.
Do you mind sacrificing 50% of your DPS just to?
Oh no, absolutely not. No.
Like giving that guy permanently 12k DPS and he's going to carry you to a victory, it's not going to stop the guarding. All it's going to take is somebody to see a good PT on their team and they'll be like, okay, well I just guard him, sacrifice my DPS, and he just carries me the game.
So
but maybe it will actually be enough. It's not like. Yes,
maybe.
PTs are the bosses in healer games right now. Yes.
Yeah.
But, maybe small changes, and maybe if it's not enough, they're gonna make more. And
yeah, I could see it being kind of effective in DPS games. I really could. In 4 DPS games, I could see it maybe being a deterrent from guarding, because kind of every bit of DPS does kind of count in 4 DPS games. But when it comes to those 3 DPS 1 healer game, and you know, like that guard is probably gonna still save a match.
For sure.
I don't want to
For
suck my
sure.
own dick on this one too much here, but I honestly think tying guard into a different ability for DPS classes and different DPS specs is an interesting mechanic, because what you could do is, so guard redirects at the moment 50% damage, yeah? So if they take 100k, you take 50, they take 50. Give or take. I know there's a 5% reduction as well. But what if they did it something like, so a sin deception, sin guard someone, and for the duration they have someone guarded, they still take 50%, the other person takes 100%, but they have like a speed increase, or they have a damage increase, or they have something that is specific to their class and how that class is meant to be played. So you can kind of guide people into that type of game style. So you take more damage to be more effective in some kind of way as you play it. I don't know, man. I just think it's a neat mechanic, and I would like them to kind of go into it a lot more than just putting it into DR and then tweaking the DR number.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
Like, I don't like the DR for DPS. I don't think there should be any damage reduction at all. Maybe I'll suck your dick too with the make it into something good. You know, like
well, even like a speed increase. I think this is one of the things that people sleep on consistently in PvP, is like the
Please
gods.
no.
Well, if you have like a
Please
20
not more mobility.
Oh, yeah, mobility is an issue in the game, but the mobility issue is more down to predation and roots than anything else. Roots and slows, like everything has just got a slow just stapled onto it, and that needs to go. Like if they just deleted all of the plus slow abilities, the game would be a brilliant, would be a big step up.
Did you guys even realize how fast Zorks are without force speed? Just polarity shift. That thing is faster than predation. And it lasts how long? At least 10 seconds, maybe more.
It's the entire duration of polarity shifts was like 15 seconds with
I think it should work that way, but at least at start of 6.0 it didn't. I need to check again, but polarity shift Zork is faster than Mara, and nobody even realizes or looks at that. They're just wondering, why is the Zork so fucking fast? Does he have predation? No. No force speed, but
I generally don't.
So bullshit.
I generally don't care about Sorks because I'm usually dead before I get on them anyway. So,
Well, I think when it comes to the mobility thing, it's definitely a talking point, but I think the issue is more that every single button, like every class has a button, pretty much, that is just what you will do rotationally, and will also apply a fucking ridiculous slow. Which to me devalues the whole meaning of slow. You can just remove all of those things and it's effectively the same thing. I understand range classes need slows to kite effectively and all that kind of jazz, but like, what percentage do you spend slowed in the game? Like 90%? It's berserk. It's a constant.
And like PT has this like
75%. 75%.
Yeah. Or the 90% by Fury. I think we're going away from our topic here.
We are very much so, yeah. As normal.
I wanted to go back to the force-bound guard change decision, because like the reasoning, and sorry Chris, but I think you worded that really badly. It's bullshit that guard is the change for guard is the reason force-bound is not changed. Like these things don't go hand in hand at all. Like the only class that can use both is Jug.
Jug, yeah.
And there's no reason to change guard because force bound is not the issue. Like that's bullshit. On the other hand, I'm on par with Snave and Junkie about force bound. Like I agree with Junkie that it's not OP. It's not OP. Okay, like people use it, and people, I wouldn't say they overuse it, but I'm pretty sure people are used to use it and overlook that the DPS set is not all that bad or that much worse. At the same time, I agree 100% with Snave that force bound is super annoying and shouldn't be a thing. as well as all the other like force tech accuracy debuffs, resists bullshit too. Because the reason is stuns and messes are not reliable in those when these things are active, and that's annoying. Like, it's fine for damage, make it damage reduction, whatever, but let us be able to use CC.
Well, see,
and
that's
not
what I thought was
RNG
confusing.
roll on that.
This is what I found confusing about the change, was because like I don't mind having an accuracy debuff. I just don't like percentage-based accuracy debuffs.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it never feels good. It's a real zero-sum fucking ability, you know? It's like, I remember back when operative roll was 85%. You know, it's like you die, like, well, fuck me, I got fucked by 15%. I don't feel good about that. That person just realizes they just rolled luckily. It's not a good feeling.
I mean, it still happens all the time with Mara Mad Dash. Like, when a Mara gets stunned or netted in Mad Dash, that's not a bug. They just lost on accuracy. Like, the person has, let's say, 110% accuracy, this Merc, and Mad Dash is only 100% resist. Well, get fucked 1 out of 10 times. This happens. And it's just annoying.
Okay, so with the changes to guard, do you think it'll change up the meta in the game at all?
No.
No.
But it might change the meta, Snave.
One day so that will die.
We think it's going to be the same thing, but maybe slightly less annoying, and then hopefully they can tweak over time.
Yeah, I don't think it's even going to be slightly less, but yeah, it's going to need tweaking again.
I mean, the problem is going to be like tweaking. How do you measure the tweaking? Because like PT is good in healer games, but it's not necessarily the strongest class in DPS games. So they kind of even out already. So they are not seen as a problem for Bioware, I guess. Even though they are. Like,
well, one thing I wanted to ask you actually, as a quick aside, and we'll do a round table here. So we start with Junkie. Junkie, in your opinion, what are the top 2 classes right now?
PT Operative.
Okay, Blan?
I'll have to agree with Junkie.
Okay, Cersei?
PT Sork.
Okay, so I've been looking at the scoreboards to kind of track, because everyone's saying Operative is OP as fuck. And I've been trying to track actually what is strong and what isn't in terms of performance, rather than what you necessarily might think. And Operative is one of the worst classes, performance-wise, across the board. So if you look at the highs, the number 1 to number 5 on the top 5, and there's a link in chat for anyone who wants to look at it right now. PT is highest 1677, lowest, so number 5 is 1548. Operative is highest, which is alignment 1632, lowest is 1504. Sniper is outperforming them. Mercenary is pretty much outperforming them, but it's a little bit of a tight one. Sork is fucking decimating them. Mara is, it's above and below, so it's roughly the same. And Jug is slightly worse on the high end. Assassin is way fucking higher. So according to the scoreboards, Power Tax and Sins and Slingers. Now, Caprica is like 2 of the top 5. I don't know if any more are his alt, and I know he's a very good player, but I don't understand why there's a big disconnect between like what classes are good in the scoreboards, because you would expect it to be fairly unanimous.
I think we had the same thing last podcast as well, right?
Yeah, it's actually slightly better now in Operative favor. I just don't. That's what I don't get, because I mean, I play solo ranked against Operatives all the time, and I've never ever thought to myself, my god, this class is particularly oppressive or destroying thing. Whereas Power Tax and Sins, I would say 100% are.
I think that I'm going to go with what Meme said there. I think the leaderboards are a little bit... I mean, yeah, you can take the data from the leaderboards and you can say, yeah, these guys are doing well, these guys are not. But you can't take into consideration from the leaderboards the amount of skill that it requires to be at
I would say
level.
that's a really silly thing to say, because the leaderboards are the top 5. So skill is 100% taken into consideration. It's literally the top 5.
Yeah, but then, like, okay, so what my point was to say in that aspect was, it's easier to be a better merc than it is to be a better operative, in my opinion, right? So
for sure.
I could,
there's ease of class.
I
yeah,
disagree.
I understand what you're saying. Like certain classes are just functionally easier to play than other classes.
Yeah,
I get that, but what Meme said about average rating, we're not talking about average rating. We're talking about top fives. So the average has got nothing to do with it. It's an average of the top fives. Now, please bear in mind, in the top five for operatives, you got Align twice, and you've got Stain twice.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess you can disregard both of those ones from Stain because they're clearly full of shit. You've got Align at 1632, and then you got Nay at 1558, and a guy called Suicide Season at 1504. So it's like, if you want to consider skill, then you look at the top five, because the best 5 players should be the top 5 or top 10. I mean, you can expand it as much as you want.
I 100% get you.
But the skill argument isn't valid, I don't think, when you're looking at literally the high end. You're looking at the best players playing the classes the same way.
Yeah, I guess to a degree you're right. I mean, I can concede, but like I still like personally, when I come up against, like, say, a Sin, for instance, I don't feel as oppressed than I do coming up against an operative. Like, for me, if an operative runs up to me,
I'm falling into the classic trap, you junkie, of just because I play operative, talking about operatives.
Yeah, no,
I'm so
yeah,
sorry.
Yeah. No, it's fine. But like as I say, like, if I play against an operative, like, that operative's going to come up at me. He's going to open in stealth. He's going to take off pretty much half my health with 3 crits in a row. Yeah, a Sin, it's going to low slash me. He's going to spike me. He's going to spike me.
For sure, but I mean, there's different.
Electrocute me.
So this is my argument for donkey's years about why people think operatives are OP when they're not, is because it's one person doing one thing to you, which is a very personal thing. Back in the day when Smash Maras were like doing a third of your health every 8 seconds, people still complained about operative because it was a very intimate thing. You know, you're on an off-road, all of a sudden someone chunks you down. And even though it's like objectively weaker than Smash Mara by fucking huge margins, people don't view that the same way because it's a big cluster fight. But I don't want to get into the weeds on this. It's interesting to see how people interpret the figures versus their own experience. But the next topic is Augments, and you might be thinking to yourself, why are Augments part of a PvP podcast? Well, don't worry, boys, we'll tell you. So let me just read out the Bioware spiel first of all on this. To be clear, these Augments will require both the PvE material, only available in Master Mode operations, and the PvP material, only available in Ranked, to craft. We acknowledge that many players prefer one mode over the other. However, we have a robust trading economy that rewards those who make those scarce materials available either via the GTN or trade chat. So there's a new Augments come in. You have to do MM Ops and you have to do ranked PvP to get it. Now the drop rates are listed on the post, which I will link for you in chat. Give me 1 second. I don't want to go through the drop rates one at a time. But one thing I will say about the drop rates is someone on the PTS worked it out. What is it? Riku Von Drake. So each player uses 14 Augments. An operation group has 8 players, so that's 112 Augments in total. That means they need to raid for 224 hours to farm the PvE materials for a group. Assuming they clear 5 bosses an hour, which is pretty achievable for a good Nightmare raiding group. Assuming they raid 2.5 hours per raid night, that's 90 days of raiding. Let's say they raid 3 times a week, it's 30 weeks of farming. If this patch comes out in October, that means your average Nightmare raiding group would have gathered all PvE materials by May next year. It's solo ranked and team ranked. It's not just team ranked.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think they might need to do something to change that, because
they will.
Well, the drop rate
that is calculated, I think. They're gonna make it super berserk at starts,
and then they'll take
2 months later they will tweak it.
So guys, here's a pro tip, right? If you get any of these mats, just fucking sell them to Dosia. There you go. There you go. All right, so it's all percentage-based chance. I'll go through the pops just because the rates, because Nana's asking in chat. 50% chance in weekly group ranked, so 5 on weekly group ranked quest. 10% chance in daily group ranked, so 1 on daily group ranked, 25% chance in weekly, 0 on weekly, and 5% in daily solo, so 0 on solo. So yeah, I think it's a 50% chance in the box and 5 on completion of the quest for team ranked, 10% on the daily, 1 for the daily, and 0 guaranteed in solo, 25 and 5 respectively. Again, it's all in that post here. So in order to craft these, you need 25 of the RPM 13s, those are the ranked ones, and you need 5 legendary embers and 15 OEMs, which is the operation ones. So you need to get 25 from ranked and 15 from ops and 5 embers. As a quick aside, it does look like on the PTS you can now buy legendary embers for 3,000 tech fragments, which is great because I got a fucking
that's nice, yeah.
Slots full of that shit, so that's good. Now this looks to me like it's a clear, very, very obvious like carrot approach to try and get people into ranked games. So what are your thoughts on this type of incentive?
I think it's really unhealthy for the game, to be honest, because it's just a never-ending grind that is going to result in more like inexperienced PvPers being in the queue.
Okay.
Thus creating more toxicity, which is
one
already
second.
a problem in of itself.
1 second. It's not necessarily going to work that way because you got to win to get them.
Yeah, so they're going to keep queuing until they win. So they're going to just keep queuing like in order to get them out without actually the intent of winning. Well, other than just to get them out,
you have
not
to
to
win.
get rating.
They
to get
want
rating
win,
though.
Blenny, I'm trying to be a new guy here.
I think you've missed the
but,
point
like,
on that one, Glenn, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I kind of don't get the point. Like you're complaining that they're gonna bring more people to solo ranks or team ranks
and team ranked.
Like, yeah, like I don't like. Don't get me wrong. Like team ranks, yeah. Like if four really bad players queue together and consistently lose, then yeah, it's good for people to actually want to win.
The thing with team rank, which I think gives it a good degree of immunity to any kind of bullshit, is it's literally you have a team of 4 people.
Yeah.
So if you were queuing to like win and you want to play and you want to get good elo and you're there for that reason, then having a bunch of we'll just call them bad players who are just queuing hoping they get a worse team is great for you.
Yeah. And even if like some of these players go to solo ranked to try and get that 0.5% chance at getting a map, then that's still good. It's bringing more people to the ranked community. It's not like we don't need them because we do.
I think it'd be really healthy for team ranked, but I'm not too sure about how it would fare in solo ranked.
But that's the thing, though. The drop rate for solo ranked is so shit on purpose. That people will go into team ranked.
I wouldn't bother trying to farm it in team ranked. It's a nice reward for playing team ranked, but I don't think that incentivizes things. 25% chance for your weekly and 5% chance for your solo.
Can I just quickly shout in, because I was watching Peter stream earlier and he was on PTS and he picked up the weekly for team ranked and the daily and the weekly.
Yeah.
And it did say on the actual quest that the team ranked daily would give you 1 guaranteed.
Yes, yeah. So like I said, it's 5 guaranteed for the weekly and 1 for the daily. There's also a 10% chance in the box you get from the daily, and a 50% chance from the weekly.
Okay, sorry, I misheard.
So it's both of them. Both of them.
Yeah. So like, I mean, like, if people want to queue up for team ranked and try it, then it's good for the team ranked community.
Well, I think it's good for solo ranked as well, to be honest with you. You got to bear in mind, right? One of the problems that I think it's literally the biggest problem in all of ranked is it's what I always call the stain problem, where you get to the point where you don't know whether people are intentionally throwing or whether they're just trying to take part and are just accidentally losing or whatever. You know what I mean? It kind of causes. I'll go into this when it comes to toxicity as well, because this is what I believe is a toxic experience for the game. It's when it poisons your enjoyment of the game rather than someone saying that you're a dickhead. Having more people in the queue will, especially bad players, will mean that as long as you can get out of like 1,100 kind of 1,200 rating, you shouldn't really be facing those players. Because the way that matchmaking works now, I mean, Junkie, you saw when we did the little experiment of the day, you know, it does 100%. Group you together on rating. So if you can get to like 12, 1300, you shouldn't be in games with these like 800 rated people. They'll just be like fighting against themselves. And I think that the problem that Ranked has had for fucking years is it's such a shallow pool. It makes it incredibly vulnerable to just shenanigans. Like absolutely just fucking shenanigans. Like Digouts is a great example. You know, Digouts channeled his entire fucking pool of unlimited autism and just shut down the queue on 3 servers at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? One person being able to do that. And this is back when the game was more active. It's berserk that one person can do that. So I think having more bodies in the queue will certainly create worse games. But I mean, unless you're 800, 900, 1000 kind of rated, you shouldn't see those games.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Also, like the whole mud farm debate of like, you know, the old comments about season 9 all over again, 4 DPS randomly put together in a group, not even trying to win. Well, that's not true.
They'll
Even
lose.
back in the day, these teams wanted to get their weekly done faster.
Yeah.
So when they faced another 4 DPS team, they were trying to win. And if they won, they were the better team. So, you know, like, it looks weird because 4 DPS versus 4 DPS is not what we understand of team ranked.
Yeah.
But that is also a form of competition, and also the better team wins. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Just to touch on what you said about season 9 here, because this is something that's been perpetually triggering me for the last fucking 6 months, right? Is people just saying, bring back Mats, bring back Mats. Season 9 was the greatest season of all time, bring back Mats. And trying to kind of make out that just having a financial reward to play in the game mode was the correct way to doing it. And it's completely fucking wrong. Like, it's completely backwards. You have to, when you want to motivate people, you have to do it so that not only are they interested, you have their attention, but also you have to nurture and encourage the correct behavior, which is trying to fucking win if it's a competitive PvP game mode. Having it so that you get rewarded for losing just means you queue up when you lose, you queue up when you lose, you queue up when you lose. You don't care about winning. And naturally when that happens, whenever you have a greater pool of people, you'll get a feeding frenzy. You know, you'll get the really good teams will come in. They'll kill the mat farmers. The middle class will come in. They'll lose to the best but beat the mat farmers, and you do get like an ecosystem going. But it's far healthier to have people actually trying to win, because then you'll get people who want to be there, and that will build the game mode as a whole. And I think honestly, there's a lot of people, especially in the PvP community, who think that, oh, I got a good rating once, therefore I understand how I should design a game mode, because I press buttons really good in that game mode. And in complete fucking honesty, most of them are stupid as fuck. They haven't got a fucking clue what they're talking about. And myself, I'm not a game dev, you know. I understand motivational theory, but I'm not a game dev. I don't understand necessarily behaviors that will come into it. It's just the idea of just saying mats, which is ad nauseum what people have been spamming for fucking months. It is stupid. It isn't going to work. It'll make the thing be alive, and then, you know, the 8 of you can wank off on fucking Discord together and suck each other's dicks and say, oh my god, we got such good rating. But it doesn't make the game mode good. You got to think like above yourself. It's just it's the classic fucking paradigm of arena in this game. It's just micro champions not understanding the macro levels of anything else that comes into the game. Anyway, that's my rant on that one. I'm sorry. So what are our thoughts on this type of incentive, and do you think it'll be enough to revive Team Rank?
That was my question to you. Like, do you think the approach we get now is good?
I think anything that forces you to win will make you take part in that game mode. Anything, doesn't matter what it is, right? If they put it into like fucking GSF right now, you get 1 million per win. Well, I mean, well, hang on a second. I could do like probably 10 games of GSF a day. I could get 10 million credits a day. Well, I want to win. I've got to win to get that. So
yeah, I mean,
I then want to get better at it. I don't just want to fucking, if I got like 5 million for losing or 1 million for losing, I don't give a fuck. I'll just AFK in the corner. Like, do you know what I mean? I'm still getting rewarded for it.
Yeah. I played GSF at the start of 6.0 because it got me a lot of tech fragments. Like,
yeah, but
hello?
you play to win. You didn't play to just sit in the corner.
Yeah, of course.
You don't get it if you don't. As long as
Of
the
course I play to
caveat
win.
for the rewards is to win, I don't have an issue with it. And when I
Yeah.
read all these fucking mewing quims on the forums, like, oh, I played for 10 games and I lost all of them apart from 2. It's like, oh, shut the fuck up. Like, learn to play. It's just, if you're losing that much of a percentage of games, then, you know, there's one common fucking player on every losing team, and that's you. So maybe just stop being shit, or maybe just look into how you can improve, or maybe just get a fucking team together and just queue up as a pre-mate. All of these things. Go on.
The classic advice: get good.
Well,
Do more.
it's just like, if you're losing 80% of your games, then that's more than a coin flip. You know what I mean? There's going to be a reason for that, and unless you can like fucking pinpoint the reason, you know, maybe you just got unlucky. Like I lost a bunch of fucking solo rank the other night because I had Fifi in 10 games as my healer. Yeah, they were just globaled in the first 10 seconds. There's very little I can do about it, but my takeaway was I don't want to be this low elo ever again, so I've got Fifi as my fucking healer. You know, it's there's ways and means you can get around this kind of stuff if you are incentivized and motivated to do it. It's I don't think it's a case of just purely get good, but you have to accept that there's roads to improvement. And I think demanding rewards for taking part is a very weak and damaging mindset. Very weak. Go and do PvE.
100% agree. 100% agree.
Sorry, I got a bit carried away then.
I
just hate this fucking shit, dude. I saw Regs get decimated. I love playing Regs. I think Regs to me is way better than solo ranked. It's just because there was no reason to play Regs as the map is intended, people didn't play it. And over time, that eroded away at the skill level in Regs to the point where no one knows what the objectives even are anymore. You know, and people don't know how to do anything in Regs whatsoever. And now, whenever I dip into it, they are substantially better than they were before. They're not perfect, but they're better. People are actually trying to win. You know what I mean?
I think that the changes that they've made, taking out the whole just participate kind of thing, has made PvP a lot better in that sense. You know, people do try to win now, where, you know, whether it's ranked or, you know, hey, look, there's bad players wherever you go. You know, regs, fucking ranked, PvE for Christ's sake. But like, people do want to win now. Like, and when it comes to regs, I noticed that, you know, people are actually not just there to number farm. You know, they're actually trying to do objectives now. So,
well, I mean, it's like PvE. I always find the easiest parallels is do PvE, PvP. If you can't kill a boss, then you don't get any rewards.
Yep.
Make a forum post saying, you know, make this boss easier or whatever the fuck it is. You know what I mean? It's just when you think of it like that, you understand how dumb it all sounds. But it's just something. It's been a cancer eating away at the fucking mentality of this game for donkey's years, and I'm glad they've got rid of it. I hope they never remove the whole win to progress idea.
100%.
But Blenny, we're going to throw across this question to you because I want to know your takes. What positives do you think will come from the change with the mat introduction to the team rank and solo rank?
Well, I think that team ranked will pop more, and I honestly prefer team ranked to solo ranked. I know you hate the comparison, but season 9 was.
I don't hate the comparison.
Far better.
I don't hate the comparison. I don't. It's just saying that mats are the solution is silly.
Yeah, I don't think mats are wholly a solution to like revive team rank. I don't think the game has like sufficient population to make team rank like a truly fulfilling experience, but I think that it is like a necessary boost for team rank. There's already people who are talking about restarting team rank just because the new mats are in it. But I think that the only limitation that it really has is on like how you actually craft the augments, because if, as this theory crafter said, you need to like you'll have the entire set of augments by May next year or whatever, then it's just stupid and people are going to inevitably get bored of it.
I would imagine that the mats will be increased fairly rapidly. Is what I think.
It's definitely not something that's like easily overlooked, but like at the same time, I think that if it's not done right, it would just like kill any like sense of grind for the game, because like are the stat boosts even that major? It's like what, 20 more mastery?
So in total, you in total for all 14 augments, you gain 300 tertiary, and 400 power, 400 endurance.
That is a pretty significant amount overall, to be honest.
I don't think it is, really. Especially when you get to the bolsters a thing. I'm assuming they're going to increase bolster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so maybe they won't increase bolster, actually, because if they increase bolster, there's literally no reason to grind them in PvP.
True.
Yeah.
All right.
I think it's been one of those ones where it's like we'll have to see how it plays out, to be honest.
Yeah.
Blen going for the Cersei approach.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll pass this one over to Cersei. What do you think are the downsides to this type of incentivization?
I mean, obviously, potential downside is like, farming these mutts and hiding win trade with it. Like,
I think that's a huge
guilds
issue, yeah.
PvE guilds at night on dead servers, for example, right? They will.
For me, this is
will
like
look like they are
Pandora's
just
box.
farming their weeklies, but one team will always win.
Yeah, this
But
to
at
me
the
looks
same
like-
time, that's first of all, it's easy to detect. Second of all, the more like that could happen all the time right now. Like team ranked
sure.
is generally dead. So if people want team ranked rating, they could win trade every night. But they don't do it because it would be too obvious.
I can just see it right now, right? Everyone going out, getting Australian VPNs, so it looks like they're playing at 7 p.m. their local time. Just fucking win trading continuously. Hey, where's Aza? Aza, get your spreadsheet ready, buddy.
But also, like, the thing is, or the way I see it right now, with both positive and negative things, yes, it's kind of a Season 9 revamp, right? You had the same thing back then. New augments, PvE and PvP mud where you need to do team ranked. But now we have a lot of good changes since Season 9, right? Like the win requirement, for example. And a lot of like decline bugs and stuff fixed. Like there will be new bugs and exploits, I'm pretty sure, but as of right now, it doesn't seem like it's also rating reset on transfer is a big deal for this one.
Yeah.
They shut down a lot of exploitable things since then. So I'm kind of excited to look into this. Like,
the thing
can be so much better than back then.
The thing you said about guilds farming it, I know there's guilds in the game now that do that shit. They do a.
Oh, for sure.
What's the name of the guild? Fucking what's his name runs it? I can't remember.
Mebuki?
No. The other one, the PvP guild. They do like team ranked night, where they queue up for team ranked. Synergy, that's the one. Yeah, and it's meant to be totally kosher, but it's clearly fucking not. You know what I mean? Like how would you?
Synergy is a Toma, isn't it?
Yeah.
How do you really detect that ethically? I guess because what they're doing isn't really wrong. It's just like a gray area.
Well, the thing is, if they do that for rewards, they would need at least 80 wins for gold, right? Like anything below gold is like whatever.
Yeah, but
nobody
you just do
cares.
your weekly for what? 2 or 3 months?
Oh, sure, but still, they need to like. That's a big amount of effort, I think. Like they still need to like dodge better teams if they want rating, right?
Well, I think the easy way to approach this, and this is maybe just my opinion, if you're doing guild-specific events to play team ranked, you have challenge mode specifically for that. So
of course.
If you're just playing, if you just want to do team ranked against your own guild because you want to play team ranked, then that's why that exists. So if you're doing it in open gameplay, then to me that suggests you're doing it for the rewards, which then to me suggests that you're doing shenanigans to get the rewards. Do you see what I mean?
Well, yeah, but I thought that's the point anyway. Like, my point is maybe these things are not that much of a problem because people will do that, but maybe it's not a problem because of the win requirement. Because it's a lot of effort.
I don't share your optimism on that one.
Well, maybe I'm wrong, but
well, okay,
I'm optimistic.
We'll take Synergy as an example because it's a really good example because they are a fairly PvP orientated guild and they do these events already for team ranked. it's one of those things where they might have a legitimate team, and that legitimate team will bolster their wins through like, you know, Aussie time gameplay and you know, guild v guild events, but they'll also play in, you know, in open water as well, so it'll kind of like blur the grounds between them. You see what I mean?
Or maybe they already do that and I just don't
No, they
see
do.
it. Maybe I'm
do all
blind.
that. I mean, just look at the people with gold right in from team rank. It's pretty obvious a lot of the time. Dude, even
I haven't looked in a long time, honestly.
So I got a burning question here for you, and I'm going to throw this across to Blen. How much money do you think Dosia will make cornering the new augment market?
Well, I asked him the other day how much money he has, and then he blocked me. So I think I have a feeling he's got some like underground credit operation running where he sells credits. But that's just like a personal theory.
If he's not selling credits, what the fuck is he doing? Like, in all sincerity.
Yeah. Like, I think that he's gonna absolutely dominate the market because he's just gonna buy up all the early map.
He's probably gonna buy all the augments.
Yeah, probably, and then he's gonna get some like weird monopoly over it, where it like is 10 times the actual value of it, just for his like crafter's fee.
Okay, so you want to hear a number? I think his revenue is gonna go up by 30 billion per year, roughly.
All right, guys. So let's open this up to everyone. So, Junkie, first of all, what other types of incentives do you think would help ranked participation?
Oh my god, fifiness is in chat. Sorry.
To be fair, like I think that what they're doing now is enough for now. In future, I honestly like. I've always been a big champion for better rewards at the end of the season and like PvP actual rewards.
Quantify better.
I mean, something new. I mean, the amount of art and effort that they put into the cartel market, just put that into a ranked rewards.
Yeah, but Junkie, the cartel market generates money.
Yes, I know it might generate money, but think about it. Okay, look.
Okay, I'm thinking about it.
Big brain here. Do you have to pay a sub to play solo ranked? I think you do, right?
Oh.
Yeah. You see where we're going with this, right? Make those rewards absolutely amazing, and people will pay to play that game mode just to get that goddamn rewards. Okay, I mean that's long term. I feel like, you know, we could do with some actual rewards, not rehashed shit, not shit that's come off the cartel market, not shit that's going to go on the cartel market in 2-3 months' time. Something unique.
Dude, I actually think recolored cartel market items or flayed up cartel items would be a good way of doing it. Because you're just going to reuse the same asset, but just chuck some jazz hands on them.
I mean, yeah, if you're going to do it, then do it like that.
Well, okay, well, think of it this way. Think of it this way. You know the Season 3 weapons?
Nope.
The few ones with
Dude, you're asking. So you're asking somebody that knows nothing about fashion in the game.
Season 3 weapons are the ones with the flames on them that everyone's always wanking over. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Now those weapons exist in the game. The only difference is the Season 3 ones have a little extendy bit and flames on them. I'm just saying, do the same thing. Take whatever fucking cartel release you've got, give her an extendy bit and some flames.
Yeah, okay.
Winner. You know what I mean?
Just give us flames. That's all we want, guys. Just some flames.
They did the same in Season 9, right? The Season 9 ranker, it's just the holo ranker in flame color instead of blue.
Yeah.
And people liked it.
Like, I really don't have a problem with it. I think if you're going to be spending money on artists to design like high quality visuals, slapping some flames on it and saying that flames are the PvP flame, you know, you see a guy who's flaming. Can you imagine flaming Blen? The hot?
No, we don't need to visualize that. We don't need that.
Hot and single.
Let me ask you guys a question here. Blenny, what is your favorite cartel item weapon?
I mean, I don't like any of them, to be honest with you.
You don't even like the unstable lightsaber?
Nope.
Dude, that's not the Peacemaker?
I use the Season 8 one all the time. It's the best lightsaber in the game.
Terrible, dude.
You have terrible fashion sense, Blaine.
Not even a Tithonian Force Master's lightsaber, and I even know that one.
Everyone
Okay.
loves the fucking flames and shit. Just chuck flames on shit.
Exactly.
Or lightning.
Give me a flaming armor set. There you go.
I know.
An
See,
armor
okay.
set that's-
So in chat, type in your favorite weapon in the game. Senya's spike. Do you know what's better than Senya's spike? Flaming Senya's spike. You know, make it. TMG says his hog. Dual wielding.
I'll tell you what's better, a flaming hog.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
it
There we
already
go.
burns when he pees, mate, so he's halfway there. But yeah, Sarah C, do you have any other ideas for what could incentivize people to play ranked? So I know everyone says unique rewards, but like, what do you mean?
Well, find a way to make people feel like the reward system is skill based, I guess, because I disagree with most of what people say there, but there are many people that do believe that it doesn't reflect skill at all. You know, people are like, oh, 1500, that's just luck, no skill, and it's like, I disagree with that. But
Well, I disagree with that as
you-
well. But
we need to, like, you know, get that mentality reverted back to where it should be, right?
well, the issue that you brought up there just segues in perfectly to our next section, which is toxicity. And before we go into this section, boys, I need a pee. So here's a challenge for all three of you in chat. All three of you in voice, and for everyone in chat. You've just been saying about wings and nightmare raids. Just have a discussion about that for a second, and I will be right back.
Hey guys,
Nightmare
Wings and nightmare raids.
buy it. Don't actually do it yourself.
Nah,
Yeah, cool.
Brontus is one of the most fun bosses. Do it yourself.
I think I did Bronze's once with Zer, and he laughed at me, so I'm never doing it again.
I think I remember that Harold streamed that. I think.
Yeah, I think somebody streamed it, and they all laughed at me, so I was like, I'm
Yeah,
never doing it again.
Got like killed by the fingers or something.
You dude, come on, man! It was my first time.
Yeah, I cleared it first time. It was easy.
Oh, shut up, Blenny.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah. So.
Honestly, hashtag try PvE. It's fun, or it can be fun.
Hey, look, PvE was fun until you go into a raid with Nini, Mini Guy, Mickey, Shekshas. Was it Shekshas? I don't know. Hitler.
Well, I don't count that as a
like,
raid. That's a meme.
when you go into a raid with those guys and like Nimi kills herself by standing in shit like for 20 times in a row, and Mickey just rolls as a sniper into shit, then you kind of give up and think, you know what, this PvE isn't that fun.
Repair bills.
I need Lisbeth on my team in solo ranks. It's much more enjoyable.
Yeah. Sarasi, I think someone's asking if you're Dark Jedi Killer. I'm not too sure.
I think that was connected to my answer to the question, how toxic are you? And I did the Harry Potter quote, so I think the question is, am I JK Rowling?
Yeah, I thought you meant Jedi Killer or something. To be honest, I guess my mind is just infected.
Junkie,
Wow.
you suck, by the way, by Thorns.
Look, it's not my fault. Thorns has a really shit guild, and he only invited me in it so he could talk shit to me on a daily basis. He's actually a bully. Did you guys know that? Thorns
Yeah.
is actually a bully.
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
know
for
that.
sure.
All
got
he
kicked out
does-
for it.
Yeah, all he does is invite you to his guild so he can call you shit on a daily basis in guild chat so nobody else can see it.
What's this?
I was talking about how Thorns
I
is a
let you
bully.
get kicked by
Thorns.
Chili instead, so that's better, right?
Yeah, Thorns is a bully. He invited me to take a seat just so he could bully me in guild chat and nobody else would know.
Oh, God bless him. So were there any good ideas about incentives? Or did
No,
you
I think we just kind of spoke about PvE and then made fun of Junkie.
Oh, okay. So business as usual.
Yeah.
So we got on to the next juicy point, boys. This is something which is near and dear to my heart, and something that I want to talk about quite a bit. So we got on to toxicity. It's the theme of the podcast, and it's something that I think, as a phrase, has almost lost all meaning whatsoever. It's where we're at the point now where getting flagged is toxic. A literal in-game item that literally only has one use is being described as toxic. I watched 5 minutes of a 30-minute video where someone was saying the woes of being mass emoted. And I just thought to myself, is this where we are now? Where using emotes and flags is meant to represent toxicity? Because to me, it is a thing, but it isn't that. Like, it just isn't that. So let me read out the Bioware Blurb, first of all, for this one. And it's, in general, our philosophy in regards to toxicity and harassment is there is no room for it in our service. But it's not quite as simple as find the toxic people and remove them, because there is no one-size-fits-all solution. Oftentimes, folks are just having a bad day, and some friction point in the game rules or mechanics can exacerbate this and lead to a negative or harmful social experience. So, before I go into this, let me just ask you a question, and we'll start with Sarah, because he's probably the nicest person here.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, I mean, clearly he is.
All right.
In your opinion, what would you say toxicity is?
Okay, I think problematic toxicity, concrete, is when basically a player that is new enough to not live up to expectations, but not that noobish that he is in the wrong place, gets just obliterated by with words, I guess. That's toxic.
So you think saying mean things to a person who's performing badly is toxicity? Well,
it depends what is being said and how often it happens. And if it's like, you know, if it's bullying, or if it's just saying mean things, you know, like if one person says a mean thing, that's not toxic. But if that person doing it inspires 5 others to also do it, then it becomes bullying. And if that keeps going for a week or a month, that's a problem.
Yeah, I would agree with that. What about you, Glenn, seeing as you're the authority on this?
I'd say that my opinions are kind of similar to Sarasi's, but like toxicity is something that's kind of hard to measure. Like with the example you gave of that one person who made the 30-minute video, it's kind of like I'm not going to deny that she was probably upset by it, but it's like sort of an unavoidable consequence that if you're going to come into solo ranked, play poorly, and then laugh it off when people tell you to stop queuing or like just get better at the game, like you're gonna have people get angry with you, and then to like make a 30-minute video about how you're being attacked whilst you're trying to like tease and troll these people yourselves is kind of counterproductive. I find.
I think the one thing for me that classic kind of like stuck in my craw a little bit more was that person is broadcasting their gameplay and then saying, if you criticize the gameplay that I am electively showing you, then you're being toxic to me. I just don't agree with that. Like, if I go to the cinema and I watch a film and I think that film is bad and I say that's a bad film, I'm not being toxic towards the film director. I just didn't like it. Yeah, if I'd send them a DM saying, fuck you, you're a shit director, I still don't think that's toxic. Because like the whole, I create content. I've done it for donkey's years, and I've been shit on for donkey's years. It is literally the price of admission. If you don't want people to criticize what you do, don't fucking do it. Don't show it. It's unreasonable to me to say, I'm making content, therefore you guys have to only say positive things or constructive things to me. I expect to be dunked on 24/7. Like I genuinely do. It is, in my opinion, humiliation is the price of admission if you're trying to do things publicly. You just have to be willing to accept that.
It's like putting yourself into the victim role when the only thing that happened was 100% expected.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, well, why do you do it? You know the outcome, right?
I think I agree with Sarah C in the case that, like, say someone queues up and they're just terrible. There's a really bad player, and everyone starts saying, you know, kill yourself. Your mother should have had an abortion. You know, all that kind of stuff, and like threatening to throw on them. And all right, well, you're not criticizing, you're not helping, you're not doing anything. You're just being an asshole. And I could probably understand where that would err into the territory of being toxic. It's just, have you ever done anything competitive in your fucking life? I mean, really, anything. It doesn't matter what it is. Anything at all. You could have been playing fucking football in school. That's soccer for any Americans watching. Like, if you play in football against someone and they fuck up anything, they fuck something up, what are you going to do? Go, oh, mate, you tried your best there, don't worry. No, you're going to fucking laugh at them. You're going to try and demoralize them, because that's how competition works.
Yeah, like, that's how sports works.
It's not just sport. It's literally all forms of competition, you know? Like,
yeah, but like what I want to say is, like, in sports, like 90 minutes soccer game, football game, people shit on each other, and after that, handshake and everything is fine.
Yeah. I mean, the sport that I follow the most is mixed martial arts, and you'll see it before loads of fights. You get people who will literally make fun of their wives, make fun of their fucking religions. They'll make fun of everything about that entire person, and at the end they shake hands and then they move on. They don't sit there going, oh my god, that guy was so toxic I couldn't concentrate. Because if they do that, what you're saying is, I'm mentally weak to this particular attack. Please don't use it on me in the future, because you will negatively impact my performance. Which is what people want. That's literally what they want in a competitive environment. They want the enemy to be weaker because of what they've done mentally. And the whole mental warfare thing is a huge part of it. But it's a video game, I guess. So I think the stakes are lower, so then people view it differently. It's a strange mentality shift for me. Like, because
it's also it's the internet, and that's the thing. Like, the whole debate on what's allowed and what not on the internet, and how impactful is it, because, you know, it's just on the internet. It's so weird. I hate it. Like, I hate this topic so much.
I think the topic is interesting. I think the word toxicity has been used to a degree where it no longer holds any meaning. It's just like, oh, someone emoted me toxic.
It's like Brexit. The whole debate is so ridiculous that it doesn't have any meaning anymore.
No, but it's very true. But Glenn, what about you, man? I'm interested in what would you define as being toxic?
I mean, I said earlier it's kind of like a hard thing to gauge, and I suppose it like varies from person to person as to what they consider toxic. Like, also the same example as before. Like, I personally wouldn't consider someone spam emoting me as toxic. It's just like, yeah, whatever, shut up. It's just a bit annoying to have your chat filled with /spit, but someone else that might be like harassment or whatever, and like, it's not really like our place to judge what upsets people, I guess, but to take it out on an entire community is just a bit of like an intense measure, I find.
Junkie?
Right, so when it comes to toxicity, I'm kind of with Blenny. So for me, like, telling me to kill myself, I'm just gonna laugh at you. I don't care. Like, tell me whatever you want. Tell me I'm shit on a daily basis. Yeah, exactly. Junkie has skinny arms, right? But still, but to somebody else, telling them to kill themselves is really hurtful and really fucking meanful to them, right? I think what needs to be done with this whole toxicity is Bioware needs to lay down a law, basically, right? They need to say what is acceptable, what isn't acceptable.
I don't think they can, though, because you're acting them into a blanket rule for subjective experience.
I mean, yes, to a degree, and I do think it needs that to a degree. I'm not saying like, oh, if you tell someone they're shit, that's toxic, you're banned. Because like they even said it themselves, people have bad days, right? I have bad days, you have bad days, Blenny has bad fucking days every fucking day. But like,
Wow.
we all have bad days,
So toxic.
And we
Yeah.
do let our emotions out. As much as we all like to say, well, we're gamers, we like to game, we have bad days and we let emotions show through our game and through our typing in a game. We let that shit out. And it happens to every single one of us. Is that toxic that I'm having a bad day and I've called you shit because I'm angry at myself and everyone else? No, it's not me being toxic. It's me being emotional. And that's a part of human fucking nature. But again, to me, that's not toxicity. But to somebody on the receiving
I
end,
actually have good news for you, Junkie, as
being...
well.
Oh.
I said to Chris, do you have any plans of policing toxicity outside of the game? So, for example, if someone says something mean on a stream, and he was like, no, we have no intention of doing that. So we good, mate, we good, we can carry on.
Thank fuck for that. Jesus Christ, otherwise I'd be banned permanently. But no, like, no, even in my streams now, I feel like I'm a bit of a different person now, because I'm trying to less blame everyone else and actually accept the fact that I'm not that good, right? So, like, I don't know, like, toxicity is a very hard thing to measure because, as Blenny says, like, for one person, it's not toxic. For the other person, it's extremely
okay. So that leads on perfectly to my next question there, because this would cause you to define an experience. And we'll start with Cersei, because I'm sure he's going to say he has none of these examples. But what experience have you had with a toxic player?
Well, I mean, everyone has those.
Well, I'm just trying to think. Give me a specific example of a time a person exhibited behavior that you would consider toxic.
I mean, it's difficult because okay, I think toxic is when it hurts, right? And
I don't think necessarily. It's whatever you define it on. So it's like whatever you think.
Okay, that's it for me. Like when it's a toxic experience for me, it's because it hurts me, and it only hurts me if I have an emotional connection there, right? So when someone I know for a long time says something that hurts, right? I
so you mean
definitely
like
had those.
when Chili is playing on an alt that I don't know, and I say that he played badly, with me.
Yeah, let's take this. I don't know, but even worse when the person exactly knows you and you both are in the game, and then like you fuck up, and that person is just a super.
Do you have a specific example of when this happened to you?
Life story.
It's okay if you don't.
It's hard to think of a certain example right now.
Okay, well we'll circle back to
which is not like just when the person had a bad day, right?
It's toxic. No,
like it's a bad day one day, and next day he says sorry, and that's all fine. What
about you, Junkie? And don't say there's this guy Snave who was streaming.
Yeah, this is guy Snave. But no. I'm actually gonna use Shek as an example. Last season.
Dude, he's toxic as fuck sometimes. Fucking
but I'm not gonna say like, no, that's the thing. I'm not gonna say because of his attitude or the way he talked to me or anyone in the game. My example of him being toxic was him just stucking every other round last season.
That was my example.
That to me is toxicity. That's to me saying, you're not good enough to play with me. Fuck off. Stuck. Play on your own. That to me is toxicity right there.
But that's also just stupidity, right?
Yeah.
That's when Shek is just
but like
turning brain off.
He doesn't do it anymore. I'm just using it as an example.
Believe, don't leave.
Yeah, but I'm using that as an example of like toxicity to me. And that happened a lot last season, and that was toxicity in my opinion.
All right, Blenny?
For me.
I honestly can't think of any personal example where someone would have been toxic to me that like actually upset me. Like the Shekshas example, I agree with as well. I've seen it firsthand. He's just kicked people for no reason whatsoever. He stucks games for no reason whatsoever. It's just weird to me.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. And
Well, actually, one thing I find very toxic is when people call random jug tanks Kiritana. I think that's very toxic.
No, the current Kiritana ult is Zysora.
I can share a bit of toxicity that I did towards Racy actually.
Did you?
Racy. Yeah, like this is toxicity. Remember that game? I think it was last season. I was on your team on Amara, and I was extremely fucking annoyed that I was losing non-stop. And you called a target, and every target you called, I didn't go on. I went on another target all by myself. That was toxicity right there.
And I also time outed you from my chat for that.
Exactly, so, yeah. But that was toxicity. That was
got
me
your
being
punishment.
That was me being toxic towards you.
So let me give you my experience with toxic players, and I don't think it's going to be what you think it is. Because I mean, look, I've had like death threats and shit, and I've had those in abundance, but I've never really found that as like a toxic thing. It's like I grew up when the internet was new. So did Cersei, because he's older than me. And
true.
These types of things of people just saying mean shit on the internet to me is never really been like a reality. It's a lot like, you know, the Navy SEAL copy pasta.
Yeah.
You fucking what kid? I graduated top of my school. You know what I mean? It just reads like that to me. I've never really taken it seriously. For me, toxicity and the definition and the meaning of the word toxicity is something that slowly but surely erodes away. It's like an acid effect. It's like a dot. It just ticks and ticks and ticks and ticks until it just ruins and sucks all the fun out of everything that you do. And we've all had experience with this, and the examples I would give would be, like you said, Kiritana was one, GZ's another one, Stain's another one. Like those types of players where they fuck up so many games on purpose by doing bullshit that eventually you start suspecting everyone of either being that person or doing the same thing for the same reason. It's like a shadow over your entire gameplay. And it's not anything about death threats. I mean, fuck, dude, if you get a death threat in 2020 and you're taking it seriously, grow the fuck up. Like, it's just... I would love to see the fucking measurements of death threats given over the internet versus attempts at killing someone. Because that is going to be a fucking dumb percentage. It's just, that's how I view toxicity in this game. It's the slow but inevitable sucking of fun for no reason other than that person is just trying to ruin things continuously. And I view it as an entirely gameplay based thing rather than an extracurricular thing. You know, I don't give a fuck if people want to tweet me shit or DM me on Discord or whatever. It's when they're doing things in the game to intentionally ruin my experience. And I'll give you a great example of this because it does actually involve the same person who made the 20-minute or 30-minute video about toxicity. One of her mods is a merc called Shay Damar, who, by the way, I 2v1 the other day in solo ranked. And he was very, very bad at playing merc. I think he's like 830 rated at the moment. So I had him in a game and I said, you die in pretty... I was very polite. You die in pretty quickly. Here's a guy, Waithuk. Have a chat with them. You know, they'll give you some tips, maybe help you with your spec and rotation, all that kind of jazz, blah, 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 blah. And that was the end of the encounter. And then the next time I came across them, they were still just as shit. I was like, oh, did you speak to this person? Like, yes, one word answers. So I spoke to Waithuk. And Waithuk said, basically, the guy didn't want help whatsoever. He said he can't be bothered. He just does it because he streams and people like watching him playing ranked. So I was like, well, if you aren't going to make any effort to improve and you're going to actively spoil games, then surely that's you being toxic, not me. You know, so why aren't you just like doing anything? And he was just like, well, you know, fuck off, and started calling me salty slave. And then in every single stream where I'm either against Avi or with a team, they mention something in chat about me being a cunt when I had the horrible crime of trying to help them get better. That to me is a fucking clearly toxic player, because they are making zero effort whatsoever, despite knowing they degrade other people's experience, despite having help offered, despite having everything they could possibly want given to them on a fucking platter. Like, one of the best mercs in the game was ready to give them help. They back and call, you know, and they didn't pick it. They'd rather just shit talk in another chat whilst preaching about other people being toxic and stuff. And that's another example of what I find toxic. It's the lack of ownership and the lack of willingness to make any self-improvement whatsoever, and the fact that you are willing to degrade 7 other people's experience because of your own selfish needs. That's my example.
Okay.
I can agree with that example, that one example, and I can also disagree with it at the same time, because I'm kind of the same as him. I mean, don't get me wrong. If people give me advice, I do listen to it. But the main
You
advice
still don't
I
keybind.
yeah, exactly.
Can't.
The main advice I get on a daily basis is keybind, and I refuse.
Yeah, but you don't actively go after the players specifically because they tried to help.
Oh no, yeah. I'm not gonna sit there and
that's
like,
where I
call
draw the
you a bunch-
distinction.
Yeah, okay, yeah, fair enough. I completely agree in that sense. Then, yeah.
So
Okay, but
go on,
so
sorry.
Snave, your examples were kind of like, okay, let's say a lot different than I think what is mostly viewed as being toxic.
No,
in Soldering.
I think the mostly viewed as toxic is the wrong word. I think toxicity is a different word to how it's being used.
Sure.
And it's become like a buzzword, and now everyone just says that as their go-to word, but I don't think it means what it was intended to mean.
But now that we got that definition out of the way, like going to the game concrete, like
Yeah.
don't you think that what's usually viewed as toxic, which is like, I guess, mostly the established players flaming noobs, right?
Yeah.
That's what is generally viewed as toxic. Do you think that's a problem or not? Like,
I
are
think-
these all snowflakes?
I think it
or
depends on the
do they have a point?
on the context and what's being done. So I think you'd be hard pressed to find someone who's had more exposure to this kind of behavior than me. And I open myself up to it a lot, and I'm openly critical a lot of the time. So I don't have an issue with it. For me, like I said earlier, it's like the price of admission. If you're willing to stream a game and critique other people's play, then you should be open to the same criteria yourself. So I never really mind it when people call me shit or all that kind of stuff. It's never really bothered me. It depends on the player. For example, if there was someone who I respected and thought was a good guy who I was buddies with, and they were like, oh yeah, he's just a shitter, then obviously that would sting a little bit more. But if anything, that would make me ask them what I could do better rather than have me being angry at them. And I know I'm fairly reactive. I'm 100% reactive when it comes to this kind of stuff. So I don't actively seek this, but I'm not shy from it. I just don't think being mean to people in a video game on the internet is a fucking big deal. And if you do, then I would honestly just reevaluate your entire fucking mindset towards every human interaction you can ever have in your entire life. It's ludicrous.
But I think here lies kind of the problem in our game, because it doesn't stop at, and we touched on this the last podcast too, but it doesn't stop at one person being mean to one other person. It becomes a bully mentality within the community and in streams, and I think that is a problem.
And again, I probably dealt with that more than anyone else in the game, in all sincerity. I mean, going back since I've been streaming, I can probably name you at least one instance of a group of people doing exactly that to me ever since I started. It's
actually kind of a difference if you're the streamer yourself.
Wait.
Because
Can I just throw a question out to you, Snape?
I'm inviting it. I know. Yeah.
No, I just want to ask you this one question. Going through all the shit that you've been through, okay? So me fucking...
I don't want it to sound like I've got PTSD now, but yeah.
Yeah, but all of that shit that's gone on with you, if you could have reported, say me, or Gibbs or whatever, whoever else was involved, if you could have reported them to BioWare and got them removed from the game permanently because of what they did to you, would you have done?
I would say that it would depend on the instance, because there was a lot of times, like, let me give you an example. Xari Delta, of which I know a bunch of people who are in it now and we're absolutely fine. They would literally make teams to try and just focus me and really ruin my game when I was playing Rags. Now, I don't like that behavior, and I think that's skirting along the lines of harassment, but I don't think it's reportable, because ultimately, if they want to queue up and just focus one player, they're entitled to do that.
Okay. Let me use this as an example, because it involves me. All right. So that one time where I made a character of your real life name and used that in the game, that is me harassing you, and I've already owned up to this and admitted to this. And I did get banned for a week. But do you think that I should have been allowed back into a game after doing that?
Yeah. I honestly think it's fine, because like so I don't want. This is an important distinction here, right? I don't want like retribution. Do you know what I mean? I don't want you to suffer because of something.
No.
I just want an appropriate measurement. Now, if you named a character after me and you got banned for a week, I think that's perfectly appropriate.
Okay, well, okay, so that was, in your opinion, an appropriate thing. But then at the same time, how many people have actually had that done? You know, maybe not like made a name of their real life name, but had similar sort of harassment, but not had anything done about it. Like, for instance, okay, like maybe I didn't spam message you like fucking Dig Outs does, like used to do, shall I say, before I banned every single one of his fucking tunes. But like he used to message me as soon. I think you got the same treatment, didn't you?
I still do. I literally still do.
We log in on a daily basis. Hi, motherfucker! I'm here to throw on you. Enjoy your solo rank. Yeah, every fucking day. And like, to me personally, that's fucking. I don't want to deal with that shit on a daily basis.
But that's harassment, and I think that toxicity is being used as a catch-all phrase for anything that anyone deems as bad behavior.
Yeah,
which I don't think is necessarily my definition of it.
Yeah, I agree in the sense of calling somebody shit. Like, that's not harassment, that's not toxicity, that's not bullying, right? I might be having a bad day, I might be having a great day, but at the same time, I might be just saying, look, you're fucking shit. All right, you take it how you want. But like at the same time, that person might actually be fragile. Like, not
100%. Okay. Yeah, like, for sure. I would imagine most of them are.
Yeah, but not everyone, like, okay, I don't know how this is going to come across, but not everyone is built like me or you, for instance, right? If somebody calls me shit, I don't fucking care. Call me shit. I probably am, to be fair, right? And the same as you. If somebody calls you shit, you don't give a fuck about it, and Plenty probably doesn't care either.
I think the distinction here is most of our criticism is coming from streaming as opposed to in-game.
Well, no, I've had it in-game as well. Like,
because of your streaming, I would think it's a factor.
It might be a factor, but like I've had it in game. You like some random I've never seen in my stream or in rank before has messaged me afterwards saying you're fucking terrible at the game. I don't care about that. That means nothing to me.
Yeah, that's kind of the direction I wanted to take earlier. It's like what I wanted to say about Snape's case. Like, he, as the streamer himself, he has both like the positive and the negative things going for him, because he is streaming, he gets a lot of shit.
Yeah.
At the same time, he as the streamer can defend himself 24/7 on his own stream.
Yeah.
It's a big difference when a streamer talks about another person for 30 minutes straight. That's different.
I've been guilty of that as well myself.
Same.
We all are.
Yeah, but I mean, I would honestly say that as a caveat, all of my shit is like 99.9% reactive. Like, something happens.
Sure.
And I'll talk about it.
It's always reactive.
I think it's pretty much
same
way.
It's not always. A lot of people aren't. A lot of people are proactive with it. With shit talk.
Stain throwing is also only reactive, Kappa.
Yeah, there was one game where I did like 1k DPS less than he wanted, so he threw on Rams. It was so weird.
Right, okay, but
But I would say he's
my,
a perfect
my
example.
direction is okay. Let me give you an example. Like,
Okay.
I think it is a problem that a fairly new player is, is being talked about on a popular stream, and that basically dictates his solo ranked experience for the next 10 games. Because either people think he is shit or people think he's good.
Yeah, that's very true.
Depending on what the streamer says. And if you're like, for example, I think he is still here in chat, Shuyin, right? Like,
Yeah.
Shuyin basically watched streams for 3 or 4 months before he queued for the first time. So he was already in like this, in good terms with streamers or other players in chat.
Yeah.
People knew the name, so he had a much easier start into the ranked scene.
I don't think he did
a
he?
completely new player.
And also you could argue, so two things on that point, because I remember when Shuzhen started playing ranked, because I had a game, he was playing Sage, and I don't know if he was a healer or not, but I'm pretty sure he was. At the end of the game, he messaged me saying, like, how did I do? What could I do better? And I think using him as an example kind of misses the point here, because you've got a person who spent the time to watch streams to understand what the gameplay was like and what the experience was like, and when they got into it, they were actively seeking criticism and critiques to get better at it. I think that's really what everyone should be doing. I think he's a prime example as to how you should approach the game mode.
Okay, so the conclusion there is people like that deserve to be treated well, and people that are not acting like this deserve shit talk.
No.
Is that the conclusion?
No. My conclusion would be, right, that shit talk is part and parcel of the game mode. Of any PvP in any fucking game, shit talk is going to be a factor. Now, one of the things that I've talked about a fair bit actually on stream is how people are perfectly willing to shit talk in private. I've been on Discord where people are fucking laying into other players, left, right, and fucking center. But as soon as you mention it out loud, it's like, oh, you're being toxic now. Like, I'm doing exactly the same thing as you, but the only difference is I've actually got the fucking balls to let people know that I'm saying it and open myself up to any kind of like retort or recourse from it. For me, that's way better than bitching on Discord behind someone's back.
But talking about each other behind the back is like, that's part of human culture. That's just happening.
So is getting
There's nothing
angry
wrong
at somebody.
with that.
So is getting angry at somebody for fucking up. Like, that's part of human nature too.
Well, no, I disagree. I think that if you aren't willing to say to the person, then you should shut the fuck up. I honestly believe that. It's how I've lived most of my life. Is if you aren't willing to say exactly the same thing, word for word, to the person, then you shouldn't say it.
Yeah, I mean, look, well, I think I share the same mentality as you. Like, if I've got something to say about somebody, I'm going to say it to their face. I don't give a fuck if it hurts them or not. But at the same time, not everyone is built like that. Some people don't want to confront people. They just want to say their minds, but have no chance of it either getting to the person or,
well, they want to be cowards about it. Yeah.
Okay, call it coward is.
But it is. Cool. I don't know what other word you would use.
Well, yeah, I agree, but like, not everyone is built like confrontational, as in to say, like, I'm going to tell you how I genuinely feel. Not everyone is built that way.
Is it necessary confrontation though? I mean, look, I would honestly say that if you are happy to dogpile someone with you and your 4 guys on Discord and like wank each other off saying how bad they are, and yet never ever portray that side of yourself to that person, then that's toxic.
Well, of course it is, but at the same time,
there is no confrontation, so it's not a problem.
Yeah. There's no confrontation.
It's not a problem for them. Like, that doesn't mean that it's not a problem.
No,
the behavior is the problem.
Yeah, but
if they're not,
that is just too human. Like,
yeah, but if they're not acting on it, okay. So like the issue I've got, right, is like, so say for instance, I'm a weasel, right? I secretly don't like you, Snave. I'm talking mad shit about you behind your back in Discord to somebody else. But every time I see you or interact with you, this is me. Is it going to impact you in any way? No,
Well,
it's
I
not.
don't know. No, so
Exactly, it's not going to impact anything I say or do to you. It's
okay.
not
So
going to
I
impact
guess
you in game.
a better way of phrasing that one would be: would it change your opinion if you found out I had been doing those things?
Yeah, it would be hurtful to me, but at the same time, right? At the same time, like it's been done
Okay.
many a
Would it be
times to me, dude.
more or less hurtful than if I said it to you directly?
It probably be. I mean, it'd be less hurt. It'd be more hurtful that you haven't said it to me directly.
Yeah,
Obviously.
that's exactly how
Yeah.
I see it.
Yeah. Of course it would, but at the same time, it's still going to hurt either way, right? If you're saying shit, horrible
for
shit
sure.
about me, it's going to hurt regardless of whether you're saying it behind my back. Now, if I don't know about it, then it's not going to hurt me. Like
I'm wondering, why are we discussing this? Like that's
Okay,
like
so
that has happened to every one of us. Like a friend telling you something about another person, and you're like, oh, what the fuck is he talking about him? And then you need to be careful to either not share it, or you actively share it, and then and it's your fault, right? Because you shared the information. Like that situation happens real life,
it's happened
online, all the time.
a bunch of times to me in real life. It goes okay. So this would be, I guess, this is a bit of a reach analogy here, but it's like when someone says to you, if your partner was cheating on you, would you rather know or not know? It's kind of the same principle.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a betrayal there somewhere, and would you rather be aware of the betrayal, or would you rather be ignorant, naive, and happy? It's one of the two. You know, you got to choose those different things. So
and the person that knows is always like the one that feels the worst.
Yeah, I've actually literally been in that situation where one of my friends was dating someone and my other friend was shagging them, and it was like, well, what do I do? Because if I tell them, then everyone's going to hate me, and if I don't tell them, then I'm going to hate myself.
And you need to like weigh the consequences for yourself,
I just
which
told
person
them,
you like more.
I told them instantly. I told them straight away because it was like this isn't right. Fucking moral.
In general, I also
slave.
like the direct and honest approach.
Same.
That's for sure. Truth is always better than.
Oh yeah, but like not everyone is built that way.
Well, I don't understand how you're meant to fix something if you aren't even aware that there's a problem. Like, it's like, what is your objective? Are you just looking to vent and just say some shit to get whatever is out of your system, or do you want it to improve? Because like there's merits to both, you know what I mean? It's like sometimes people just want to complain about their day. You know what I mean? They don't want you to try and fix their day. They want you to just listen to them vent.
Sometimes venting is good. Like, you know, sometimes I get annoyed at fucking Cerasi, and I just want to tell everyone else how much I hate him.
Yeah, I just think it's important that. I mean, I've honestly, this is one of my life philosophies: is that you shouldn't say anything behind someone's back that you wouldn't be comfortable saying to their face. 100%. And I want to stress the word "comfortable" saying to their face, because like there's a bunch of grey areas in this stuff. But how happy would you be if that person was actually in the room? But let's go on to the next point, because I want to throw this across to Blenny, and I don't want to like wank over philosophy for a long time. Blenny, why do you think players become toxic?
Because they're losing, I guess, or because they've got this like.
It's so true.
Or that they're like they've got this innate sense that they're better than everyone else.
Yeah.
Like I kind of put this forward in my weird quiz that I made. Everyone thinks they're better than everyone else, so they feel like they are in a position to trash talk other people because they are the best player in the game or something, and it leads to sort of a vicious cycle where the person who is getting trash talk thinks that they're better than the person who is saying that they're better than the other person, and so on. It's just a vicious loop.
I mean, that's the competitive banter, though, right? Like, with that, you create rivalries, and rivalries are generally good. Right?
Joe, I'm glad you brought up rivalries, because that was something that I wanted to talk about when it comes to toxicity. Because from what I can tell, in every single sport ever in the history of mankind, ever since sport has been documented and carried on, rivalries have been the biggest driver in self-improvement, in excellence, and also in engagement.
Are there many like big rivalries?
I can 100% agree with the rivalry.
Sorry, Brandy, what were you saying, buddy?
Is there any like big SWTOR rivalries though?
I mean, okay,
Last-
so
There is a bunch of like small personal. I'm a
It's
better
like-
sword than you, and
well,
vice
it's
versa.
not even just
Yeah,
that. It's like if you just get two good players together. I mean, URC is a great example when you got Alim against Cersei in the finals, you know? It's like, that's a fucking rivalry. Rivalries don't have to be aggressive. They don't have to be negative.
Oh, Alum always wins. What the fuck?
Apart from last time, yeah. But it doesn't necessarily have to be a negative thing. It's just
Yeah, sure.
What your experience is usually is two players or two people who don't necessarily like each other a great deal, who have some form of respect for each other on some level, who are actually just duking it out to settle the fucking score. And that's why, and I always like this in MMA, you normally see it at the end of a fight where people have been absolute cunts to each other for months. And then at the end of it, they shake hands, and in the post-fight conference, they usually lay on heaps of praise about their opponent, whether they won or lost. You know, that's rivalry doesn't necessarily mean that you hate the person. You might hate them, but you can still respect them. I mean, what was the one with Ali and was it Sonny Lister, who said Ali went too far, he'd never speak to him again, and he never spoke to him again for the rest. You know, he went too far with the trash talk, and the guy said he would literally never talk to him for the rest of his life. But I mean, Ali made a career. Well, okay, look, he was a pretty decent boxer, but I'm pretty sure most people know him because of his shit talking. Joe Lewis, was it? Okay, sorry. Joe Frazier? Yeah, Joe Frazier. He's most well known for his banter and backing it up in the ring. Same as Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor talks mad shit. That's why people watch him. But then he backs it up, and at the end of the fight, he shakes his hand and, you know, keeps praise upon his opponents. Like, rivalry brings out the best.
And the worst.
The rivalry was...
And the worst, yeah.
The best rivalry I could think is what Meme said, Season 8, me versus Shek versus Raid Reaper. That was probably the best fucking rivalry I ever had, and it was the most fun I'd ever had in the game.
Yeah,
Like, I think me having that rivalry with Shek is the only reason I actually got to 2.4K on
Oh,
my
yeah, but
judge.
Junkie, it's the same as like when me and you were both streaming. I mean, that was a rivalry.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah,
You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah. Unfortunately, I went a bit too
Oh,
far.
well, best
but
and worst.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
it is what it is.
Yeah, but like, yeah, no, 100%. It was good in every sense because, like, it just pushed me to be a better player in every way. Like, you know, the rivalry with you, the rivalry with Shek,
Joe,
the rivalry with
Thorns just brought up a really good point here as well. The rivalry between Rags guilds back in the day,
Oh,
it was
yeah.
incredibly fun. Like when I was in Take a Seat, and there was like Take Assault, and they would like doing pre-made stuff, you know, all this kind of stuff. Even when I go back to like in my opinion, the golden era of this game was the 8 era, and the amount of what would be described as absolutely nuclear level toxicity that happened back then, it was so commonplace that people didn't even fucking blink when it happened. It didn't even register most of the time. It was just part and parcel, you know.
Like
But
the TRE forums.
Yeah, but that and I've gone into this before, but the summary for me is basically when it's team versus team, that kind of air quotes toxicity is a lot more acceptable because it isn't an individual being singled out. You know, it goes back to like the Smash Mara versus Operative argument. Everyone, like, you're criticizing the guild, you're criticizing the team. You might go after individuals, but it's mainly the team identity that you're going after. So I think that's sorely missing in this game at the moment as well. And I think rivalry is a huge thing that's missing in this game. I genuinely do.
I think with rivalries is also like the banter also leads to so many excuses and whining. It's so funny.
But that's,
Like,
that's
you know,
the fun. That's
the Rex guilds, like you know, Rec Guild 1 beat Rec Guild 2. Rec Guild 2 says, "Oh, you only won because you had a tank," or "You only won because you had 2 NG snipers," and bullshit like that.
But that's the thing. I mean, think about it. When if you're a football fan, your team plays against another football team, or you only won because X, Y, and Z happened. You know, it's we even do it through like third parties. It is part of the human condition, I think, when you're viewing competitive stuff. But the next question would be, how do you combat toxicity? What is the what's the silver bullet here?
now that we needed more than half an hour to find like the definitions of toxicity and harassment and what
I
is
think
not.
the definition is important.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like the thing that you can see, the like unnecessary flaming or shit talking people. Like, and there once again, what is unnecessary? What is necessary? It's so hard because, you know, in theory, nothing is necessary, but on the other hand, the person doing it just had a bad day, and it's like, where do you draw the line? I don't know.
Well, I had this conversation with Blaine on the PvP Discord, and I think he thought I was trolling him for a while, but it was the emote spam thing, where I was saying, you know, how much emote spam is too much emote spam? At what point does it go from just emote into harassment? It's just trying
to combat emote spam, you can.
No. I was just trying to explain that if you want to just say that emote spam is a bad behavior and should be punished, then I'm not against that. It's just at what point does it become a problem? And that's why we were having the conversation. It was like how many times, over how many rounds, over how many games does it become a problem? Do you remember that, Emil?
I think emote spam is not a problem because you can ignore the person.
Well, emote spam is a problem because even when you ignore them, they can still just loose emote and it fills up your chat box, and you can't remove emotes from your chat box.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can't turn them off. And also, I can just emote spam. Like, if say you blocked me or ignored me, I can just like do /lol next to you, and it'll fill up your chat box.
Okay, true.
Are you sure?
100%. Trust me, Junkie.
Okay, yeah.
100%.
Like, I mean, okay, definitely. I've never known that to be a thing, but okay. It's good to know because now I can do it to Jed because he ignored me.
But emotes always show. I think the only way you can turn her off is no. I actually don't think you can turn her off.
You've got to like disable it in chat.
I thought you cannot emote an ignoring player.
No, but you just do it next to them. So if I stand next to you and emote, it wouldn't be slave loss.
So what he's saying,
it would be slave loss.
True.
Yeah.
Which is effectively the same fucking thing anyway, you know. So
yeah.
Yeah, so how do you combat it? What do you do?
Yeah, I mean, it's that's obviously emote spamming is dumb. It's not necessary, but like, how hard do you punish it, or how do you educate people to stop doing it? I don't know.
I mean, I think there's an easy way to combat like too much. I mean, I don't know how to judge it, but I know there's an easy way to stop it, and it's already in the game, and that's squelching. And I think you can just say, you know, you can spam anything, but you do it too much. It's an automatic squelch for certain words in the game anyway right now, isn't it? But you can also get, you know, like if you spam something 20 times in a row, squelched. 20-minute squelch. There you go. It's not a hard fix to fix, you know.
Junkie has fixed the emote spam.
Yeah,
I mean, how do we combat the toxicity as a like a holistic approach? What do we do?
I don't think you can, to be honest. I think it's like something that's not really like a silver bullet to. I think it's just
it's literally like saying how do you combat human behavior? Yeah, I know.
I think when it comes to like combating toxicity in general, it's more of them actually like giving the player base some decent way of reporting somebody for the things that they're doing. Like at the moment, if you right click and report somebody, like the options you get are not very. We
got reports coming up in a second.
Yeah. So like I'm just saying like, but like in that sense, like there needs to be a way to filter through the reports. There needs to be a way to filter through that shit, and then they need to take a human approach to responding to the said reports. Not, yeah. I mean, like, yeah. Like, I think, yeah. Okay, I'm done now.
I think the answer to the question is a more consistent punishment for negative behavior. And I think like permabanning people or whatever the fuck it is instantly is probably the wrong way to go about it. But like a 24-hour or a 12-hour or whatever, just a little nudge. This isn't acceptable.
Yeah.
And then have that scale like with a year timeout on the first one. You know what I mean? Would go a long way to battle that. But One thing I wanted to talk about, because this might help people who are suffering from this kind of stuff. Blenny, how do you personally deal with toxic behavior?
I guess I just laugh it off and ignore it.
Oh, you're just a functional peer. Okay, cool, yeah. Well, functional adult, Glenn, well done. What about you, Cersei?
Sorry, what was the question exactly?
How do you personally deal with toxic behavior?
When it happens, when I see it, or when it happens to me, or
Yeah, both, either or.
It depends if I have motivation or not. Like usually,
So you just ignore it normally?
I mean, it depends. Like sometimes I stand up against them, or like try to protect the person that it affects. But if I don't see a way that it helps what I'm doing, then I'm not gonna try.
The selfish approach. Junkie, what about you, buddy?
If it happens to me, I don't care. I really don't care. But like, if I see it happening to somebody else, I have actually already done this, and I've started reporting people.
I literally kicked Stain for being toxic the other day.
I've just started reporting people. I actually, saying that, I did kick a PT the other day for slash stucking in the second round and blaming the tank and just slash stucking. I kicked him out of the game.
Didn't he say he was going to make you regret it as well?
Yeah, he said he was going to make me regret kicking
So
him. But
toxic.
at the end of the day, no, like it was the first round. The tank wasn't great. You could tell he was kind of new. He wasn't very good. And the PT just said, "Fuck this, can't be bothered." Slash stuck second round as soon as it starts. I said, "All right, buddy, fuck off, get out of my game. I don't want you."
It's honestly a shame Shaq isn't here right now. Because, in all sincerity, I find it hard to think of a person who's done more fucking bullshit like that than him.
Yeah.
But yeah, true.
Yeah,
like actual, when you said it happens to me, like all the things that Stain whispered me over the months and years, like I find that usually funny. Like Stain is so funny when he's trolling. Honestly. Like
I don't think he's trolling though.
He's really good at it.
He's literally doing it in game and has done for years. It's not a troll. He's literally thrown games and queued up a
multi. He's also like sometimes he's also trolling and saying super.
Yeah, for sure. But it's a bit like saying a mass murderer sometimes jokes about murdering.
Yeah, of course.
Still a murderer.
This might be a bit of a false equivalence, to be honest.
I don't think it's a false equivalence. I think it was a slippery slope if you wanted to go into it.
He tries too hard. He's not good at it. I don't know. Maybe it would be sad if after all these years he would still be bad at it, right?
The thing with Stain is, in my opinion, he does it because he thinks it's a smokescreen to when he actually does it. Like, if I levy out 50% fake threats, then my 50% legitimate threats that I follow out will be masked in my threat spam.
That's kind of true, yeah.
You know, because if you've talked to him or listened to him talking about how he tries to bypass being banned, it's all that kind of shit. Like, it's all just like play it by numbers. If I do enough things, then people won't realize.
He admitted his whole 2-account thing that he did, like, in my chat. It's like 4 screenshots of chat, and like everything he said there is 100% true.
I think like the way that he said things before, because like back when they redid the bans like last season, he was saying that he'll just find a better way of doing it. You know what I mean? And when you bear in mind, and again, this is why I'm talking about toxicity specifically with him, like Ayana, remember that guy, the French kid? Who was like crying he got banned. Well, he sent me a bunch of screenshots where Stain was like threatening him. He was like, I'll throw on you for the rest of the season if you don't do X, Y, and Z.
He's like the only person that fell for it.
Yeah, but I mean, that's fucking toxic.
Yeah,
that right there is fucking, you know, he got a poor guy fucking, well, I say poor guy, the guy was cheating too, but he got him banned for doing that.
Yeah, that's true. Like, that's super fucking toxic, yeah.
No, Ayana got banned for duplicating characters.
He was banned for win trading.
He was Q-locked out of ranked. He wasn't banned.
He wasn't.
Like it was
he wasn't banned for
ranked.
No, shame.
No,
that's what Chris told me though. He said that they was gonna push it.
Chris
is never. So
Chris is a corrupted dev. Don't listen to him.
No. So first of all, Chris has never given a reason specifically for anyone being banned. So that's just not true.
I guess.
Yeah, but you read that, not him say that, and there's a very important distinction.
True.
Okay, so my next point is, should people just have a thick skin if they play in a competitive game mode?
Yes.
Junkie?
No.
No.
Okay, so tell me why no.
Because we're not all built the same. We're not all like built with a mentality of, oh, you called me shit, I don't care. But we're not all built like that. Like, I mean, yeah, like we should be, but we're not.
But
like,
it's a
some
competitive
people-
game mode.
Yeah, it might be competitive, but at the same time, people are still fragile. Not everyone is mentally like.
Okay, so let's say
steel.
Everton are playing, right? And their star player gets sent off because he shit talked someone on the opposing team.
Yeah.
And was like, oh, well, you know, it's just part of the game. You would still think, well, maybe that guy is not cut from the same cloth and he shouldn't be allowed to shit talk him on the pitch.
Well, I mean, if you're using football as an example, then
Well, it's a competitive sport, so
yeah, but you're still wrong because they're not allowed to do that. They're allowed to talk shit to each other, of course they are. But like, if a referee sees it going overboard, he will send them off. It has been done.
Well, I mean,
like
Zidane, someone said his mother was a whore, and then he headbutted someone.
Yeah, and he
the
got
guy,
sent off for
yeah,
it.
but the guy who called his mother a whore didn't get sent off.
No, but I think he actually got booked for that. Like,
I don't think he did.
there is levels in football, dude. Like, there are levels that there are.
Well, yeah, if you
lines
say
that
like,
can't
you know,
cross.
no words, then yes, you know, if you,
but like, to be honest with you, like, it's not just no words. Like, it might be
okay,
competitive.
find me one
and,
example ever of a person getting sent off for saying mean shit.
Oh God, do I really have to Google? Because I will.
I genuinely can't think of anyone ever
Well, it's because of the scent. Like, okay,
in any sport.
yeah. Well, we'll use football then, because the scent is a thing in football, right?
That's towards the ref.
Yeah, but like, it's still a person on the pitch. Like, if I got to the ref and call him a cunt, he can send me off for
Yes,
that, and
because
it has been done.
That's the ref. So the shit talk is meant to be between players rather than between the. So shit talking the ref doesn't give your team an advantage. Shit talking a person and making them think about the shit that you just said continuously to the point that it affects their gameplay does give your team an advantage.
Hold on. I'm actually going to Google because I'm actually genuinely interested.
I can't think of any sport ever.
I kind of want to fact check. So
okay.
Give me a second.
Well, as you fact checking, Cersei?
Well, like I said, I think yes, people should stop being snowflakes and making themselves into the victim role, but I think it becomes a problem when it becomes like group mentality bullying.
But there's a difference
the
between toxicity and harassment, yeah?
Oh well, okay.
would you agree or disagree with that? Or is it the same thing?
Like, I'm more or less on the definition approach, more on the what's actually happening approach. And I think that's the bad thing when it happens. Like, as a streamer yourself, you always have your stream to defend yourself, right? When a streamer talks about a person...
Me and Junkie stream is going to dogpile whoever fucking shit talks us.
Yeah, sure, but when a streamer talks about a person in their game and motivates their chat to shit talk them too,
dude,
and then it's already like 5 to 10 people, and this person has no control over that either. He doesn't have the stream open and doesn't know what's happening. When he turns up in the stream as a chatter, he gets the same shit too. Like, what does he do? Like, how can he avoid that scenario?
Sure. No,
by being good, or what? Like, asking for help, I guess, but it's kind of hard to ask for help when 10 people shit talk you for how bad you are, right?
Yes, absolutely. And I've talked about this on stream before, where it's a like a self-fulfilling prophecy. You have a person who queues up who's bad, the streamer says they're bad, and then for the next 30 games, people focus the fuck out of them because they've been told they're bad, and they're going to die immediately because everyone knows they're bad.
Yeah,
it's from what I can tell, 90% of the reason people watch solo ranked streams.
Yeah, I agree. But it's also like there are two different reactions. Like reaction number one is stop, I'm gonna get out of here. Reaction number two is, oh, I'm gonna show them. And yeah, we have seen plenty examples of these people, but and of course that's the right approach. But sometimes I think, the community can also do a little bit different. But how do you tell them, and how do you tell yourself, right? Because I do it as well. Like bully mentality is pretty human, and it's kind of fun.
This is something that
I've
mused upon quite a lot, to be honest with you. I mean, God, it was a few years ago. Well, actually, quite a few years ago. There was a guy in my chat who said to me, "Are you familiar with the phrase?" And it's a French phrase, but it's noblesse oblige, and I probably butchered the pronunciation of that. But it's basically translated to "those who can should," and the idea behind it is, if you are hot shit, then you should do whatever you can within your power to make everyone else better and elevate everyone else and share that knowledge and do what you can to improve everything overall, because that act in itself will elevate everyone and give an avenue for people to find solutions to their problems. And that's really how I viewed PvP in pretty much every game that I do. Like, I started playing a new game recently. I played it when I was a kid, which was Blood Bowl. And the first thing I did was go and look up on YouTube for videos and guides. And there was videos and guides, so I watched them. Because those people, God bless them, had gone out of their way to make these guides to help people like me who want to get better to get better. What I see a lot of the time is people who have zero interest in getting better whatsoever, who just want protection from mean words. And I don't think those are equatable. I don't think those are the same thing in any way, shape, or form.
Of course not. Like, I know, like, or what you're saying is, like, we content creators, streamers, whatever, people that speak to an audience are not responsible for everything that's happening, right? Like, that's not our fault that bad things are happening, but people try to make it out that way because it happened in our chat or whatever.
Yeah, yes, and also I think that we do owe a debt. If you get to a point where you are being watched, then you do owe a debt to help people. Like, if you have a goal or a vision in your mind as to how things should be, I feel like you're obliged to try and push that forward. It's the noblesse oblige thing. Those who can should. If you have a special trick that you learned, you should teach that to everyone. You should teach it to the masses, so they get better and everyone gets better and it elevates everything. Is what I think. But that was just, there was some guy in my chat once said that to me. I remember looking it up and thinking, fuck yeah, I totally agree with that.
All right, so now you told us, and that's how we get better, right?
Well, no, but you do it too, Cersei. I mean, like, if I go into your stream all the time, the reason being you've got a link on there for buffs that are immune to CCs and shit. Like, that's helpful as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that it genuinely is. I've literally looked everywhere on the internet, and there is no other resource that I can find that has that information anywhere. So you are helping, and I would say that in your behavior and actions when you are streaming, you are more encouraging and nurturing than other people. Same thing with Junkie.
Thank you.
Junkie does it just for fun. I mean, he teaches people, I'm just doing this for fun. You can have a laugh and a joke with me, and that's how it helps other people, because they're like, yeah, well, I want to have fun too, but I also want to do pretty well. And someone in Junkie's chat says, hey, I'm playing Amara for the first time. What do I do? They'll get help. Like, they will get help from someone, whether it's Junkie or whether it's someone in chat. It's just like,
sure,
we're all trying to elevate people up, but that is all by the by, because Junkie had a fucking breakdown during a game and called someone shit, so therefore he's a toxic streamer. It's like, you've got to work out how this shit is fucking scaled, boys. I mean, like, you've got to genuinely be open to the total approach. I would say that every streamer in this game who gets more than 20 views has added more than they've taken away. You know, it's
Yeah. Except Blenny, he doesn't count Kappa.
Yeah, Blenny does.
Wow.
he only gets 20 on the host.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, so
Wait,
I'll skip the next point because I think we've captured them all. So the next one is reporting. So this is a quote. Customer services are being told to take a more severe action against toxic behavior in the future. And in the future, in-game reporting tools are to be improved along with auto-detection measures. So I'm guessing the way that they're approaching this is if someone gets reported for saying bad things in the game, they'll take more severe actions or actual actions, because let's be fucking honest, they don't take any actions at all.
Yeah, I'm a bit scared for that. I'm going to be honest. I'm a bit apprehensive, shall I say? There we go.
Just shit talk on stream, man. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's not that actually, you know what? I've adopted a new way of generally playing solo ranked. Is if somebody does badly, I don't say a thing. I honestly don't say a thing in chat, in game. On stream, different story. But like in game, don't say a word. But like at the same time, like I don't think that this could go really badly. It could go really badly to the extent of you have a bad game and you call somebody shit and you get banned for a day.
Well, it depends if that's bannable.
Yeah, I mean, they need to be careful. They need to be careful how severe they go and by what measures they do this. Like, don't get me wrong, the improvements to reporting, fantastic. It needs an overhaul. It needs something there.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, they also you need to be careful about what you're actually removing people from the game for. Like, if I'm calling somebody, oh sorry, you go ahead.
To take your fear away a little bit, I think the more they do and look at it, like the more attention they give to the problem or the issue, the more experience they will gather and make their actions fit more appropriately, right?
I also think just taking any action whatsoever will go a long way to measuring that action. Like if someone says, okay, so say you're on Discord and someone turns up and says, oh, I got banned for 24 hours. Oh, why? Oh, I called someone a shit cunt and I said I'm your mother should have aborted you. You're like, oh, well, okay. Like, you know, this kind of just shit talk, but at the same time, it's a little bit too far and he's now being punished for it. So you know that you can't say that shit anymore, so you won't say that shit anymore.
So what you're saying is Blenny's going to be banned for life.
Probably. I think I'm already on my last straw. My last 3 bans have all been 2-week bans.
If you know there's a punishment, you are more reluctant to
like
do
all it's gonna take is 1 or 2 people getting banned, and then I think you're gonna see a massive like difference in like maybe not like behind the scenes shit talk, but you're definitely gonna see a lot less of it in ranked in any way, shape, or form. And I mean, I can't disagree. I can't see it as a bad thing. I really can't. Like, less people saying, oh, you're fucking awful, stop playing the game, uninstall, go back to fucking regs, you piece of shit, you scumbag, I fucking hate you, I hope you fucking die or something. Less of that. I mean, is that really a bad thing?
Nope.
I don't think people are going to stop, to be honest.
Time to clip this and take Junkie out of context.
Okay, so the punishment system currently is pretty much non-existent. So, are we all saying that we're happy people get banned for like that kind of chat in games?
Yeah, I'm happy for it. Yeah, I'm happy.
Okay, is anyone not happy with it?
And I'm kind of indecisive.
Because you would be.
Well, I mean,
no,
I think it would be inevitable I would get banned.
As long as I don't get banned, I don't care.
Yeah, I think it's one of these things that is skirting along the lines of policing, like thoughts almost. You know what I mean? Like if someone comes to the off node and fucks up my sap caps and I say, why the fuck are you here? And then tell them they shit. I don't expect to be banned for that because like I'm literally responding to them doing something which is very negative to me and the game overall.
Yeah.
It's one of these things where expecting people to bend over backwards to cover someone else's mistakes, I think is unreasonable.
Yeah. I think when it comes to them going through the reports or whatever goes through to them, they need to like at least be able to take it into context.
I think it'll be pretty sensible, to be honest with you. I think it'll just be like, kill yourself.
Yeah.
As
As long as they can take it into context, like as you say, like if somebody comes and fucks up and you're frustrated and you're angry, like because you're frustrated at what they've just done, like they need to take that into context that it's just frustration.
Yeah.
It's not you being, a horrible, disgusting person. It's just frustration. And I think they said that in their post, like, didn't
And
they?
also,
Like, that people have bad days.
that person that you guys frustrated about might do that on purpose, just because it's you.
Yeah,
I would say
right?
with me, 100% of the time, that's exactly what they do.
Definitely.
Or remember when GZ named his tunes after like players,
Yeah.
and you had like a scoundrel named Jedija fly hacking. That's toxic.
I didn't even know
That
that
is
he made
fucking
one.
toxic.
I didn't even know that there was a name about me in there. Like I was like super happy. that he
No,
made
it's
a
one of
name
the big
about
things that everyone does, Junkie, is they name after other players, so it's fucking confusing as to who's who.
Yeah, but I was like super happy that like I was actually taken into consideration to be thought of.
Do you have any
as,
idea how many Snave's mums there are? Hey,
I don't-
Snave's mum
Snape's
placed,
boyfriend.
Snave's
The
mum
first-
placed higher than me.
I think the first Snave's mom was Nitrain Sniper, right?
Yeah. And Nitro was Bamboozle, as to why I thought that was a fucking stupid fucking name. Yeah. Oh, why do you think I'm a troll? I'm just called Snave's mum. Like, fucking hell. Are you serious? Alright, so next up is the matchmaking changes. So there's changes to Backfill and Deserter. It's
So
tanks. Sorry?
sorry, I wanted to start already.
Oh, I was going to explain what the change is.
Yeah, sure. Go
so
ahead.
the quote from Bioware is, tanks and healers will no longer be backfilled into games if the same role that declined is available, and increased penalties for declining multiple matches in ranked.
Amazing changes.
Go on, Sarah, so you're chomping at the bit here.
So yeah, I mean, it's obviously great that you don't have like mismatched comps anymore, or very rarely, I hope. The drawback, of course, is like declining backfilling is like more, how do you say, more consistent again. Like we had it back in the day that people would use that backfill system to cheat, to like let a friendly healer or a friend queue as healer as well, let him go into the match, see how the match is, and then he declines, you get backfilled, you get the win, right? But if they tie that with penalties for declining, I hope that's not going to be an issue then.
Well, they say there's increased penalties for declining multiple matches. I would like to think that they have some kind of tool in-house so that it's account-based rather than player-based, the declines. So you can see if one person is logging to a different heal account and then declining, and etc., etc. One thing that I would like to see is the Deserter debuff be account-wide rather than just specific tune. I understand that sometimes you'll DC and you'll get a 50-minute lockout for no reason whatsoever, but I mean, fuck you. Like, I don't really care about that. It is what it is. It's gonna happen to me at some point in time, and I'll probably be upset with it, but it is what it is. It's just
I agree with that.
You have to have a functional system above individual specific fucking nonsense.
I think that would actually be a really good idea. Like, the moment you said it, I kind of cringed, and I was like, no, maybe not. But then I actually thought about it again, and like, you know those times when you have really dodgy internet, yeah, and you're trying to queue solo ranks, and you're like, you get a DC in a match, and you're like, for fuck's sake, and
You
then
should get punished for doing it.
and then
You're taking the risk.
No, yeah, but that's the thing, like, because like you are taking a risk, as you just said, right? Because your internet could drop again, and you're instantly going to queue as soon as you log back in. and then like say it happens again, like it's not your fault, but again, you should at least give it some time to stabilize, right?
Well, I think the easy way to kind of like view this shit is the needs of the many outweigh
Yeah.
the needs of the few.
Yeah,
And if you were fucking up 7 people's games, fuck you. I mean, you're 1/8 of my concern.
yeah,
So just stop fucking queuing until your internet is sorted, or plug
Exactly,
in your
yeah.
Ethernet cable, Alim.
yeah. Fucking hell.
Lag limb.
He's
Don't-
always doing
don't
this shit.
play at
Oh,
night when
my
you
Wi-Fi, just fucking plug it in. Oh, it's too far away. Fucking get a repeater and plug it in. What the fuck are you doing? But the increased penalties is what I'm very interested in seeing, because my next question is, what type of increased penalties would you like to see? And for me, it's like 15. I think 15 minutes for the first one is fine. Then half an hour, then an hour, then like 6 hours or 12 hours. And then you just lock them for the week after that point in time, because it's clearly problematic to the point where if you don't lock them in that time frame, if someone's declining that many games or getting DC'd that many times, then they're clearly fucking around when they shouldn't be fucking around. So
Yep.
I would say 15, 30, probably 6 hours after that, and then you go into like 1 day, 3 days. All the accounts.
I wouldn't make 6 hours after the third one, but
What
yeah,
did I say? 15, 30, 1 hour. Okay, well we can do 15, 36.
or maybe 15, then 1 hour, then 3 hour, then 6 or something. I don't know.
I think having it on the second one is somewhat problematic, because sometimes there's server issues which might cause that to happen, which would a 24-hour lockout would be pandemonium. Although I guess the 6-hour one would be pandemonium as well.
I guess you could make it like the second decline within 1 hour.
Yeah, like there's ways you could caveat it. Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
Like they can play around with that. Just do it.
I would say that any account that does that needs to be investigated. Like any account that gets locked out by that should be looked into as to why that happened.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so with the changes to backfill, is there enough to stop players who've been abusing this for fucking years?
Well, yeah.
No, it's basically just reverting back to the system it was before, because even if there's still no tanks or healers in queue, it's still going to backfill it with another DPS. And the majority of the time, when there's only like one tank in queue or something,
Sim roll.
But this very rarely happens if nobody is actively declining, because the punishments are too high for that.
yeah, it's true.
Especially if there's decline.
But I think
if there's an increase in punishment, then
I think that's Snave's previous idea that he mentioned like a few months back of just like restarting the match entirely and reforming it so there's something that doesn't require a backfill in the first place, would just make much more sense.
if it's a mismatch, but then that's open to abuse as well, because you can just leave and try to form a mismatch if the team is in your favor.
And I think it's, as a Sarasi point would be, something you have to watch play out.
Okay, so thoughts, and this is open to the floor, on how matchmaking could be improved generally in order to foster better games for all.
I think it's like
try to match classes after Elo.
Oh, we've said that for fucking months. I mean, it's so easy to do as well. It's so triggering for me. Like
first match after Elo, and then look at your pool of 8 players that you want to create a match with. Then look at the classes, and then just split the classes.
It would just be a fucking sweep,
that...
wouldn't it? It would just be a sweep. If like you've got X and Y as the two teams, if X has 2+ of one class, and Y has 2+ of each class, then swap them around. It's not a complicated algorithm for me. I understand that programming is hard, but in terms of like the concept of it, it does not seem fucking hard.
I think class stacking is a pretty like hefty problem most of the time, to be honest. And it's something that they definitely need to find a workaround to.
Just 2+ I think would be good enough. Like if there's 2+ on one team, then shift and swap.
Just at least try. Like most people think that stacked classes are like always super oppressive, and I highly disagree. I think It's actually usually the opposite, where like the most balanced team comp of like ranged and
I think it's very dependent on what is
ranged and
stacked.
melee is usually good. But yeah, it's not hard to separate the two Maras. It really is not. Like, give both teams a predation and both teams are happy.
I think 2
come
is
on.
fine though per team. I think it's when it gets to 3 it becomes problematic. I don't think you need to like look into the 2s.
No, but I think it's like when there are 2 Maras in that game, it's not hard
You wanna
to
split
like
them.
give 1 Mara to each team, so each team has a predation. It doesn't matter if double Mara is weak or if double Mara is strong. It's just separating those 2 is always better.
That's yes. So yeah, I don't disagree, but that's a more complicated thing to do because then you've got to like tally by utility.
Yeah, but I mean, they can at least try.
Like okay, so 2 Sorks is different to 2 Maras.
Yeah, but it's still better to separate the 2 Sorks as well.
What if there's 3 Sorks?
Give one team at least one.
Yeah,
And
I think
the other
I
team
think for
have
me
maximum
3
2.
is the cutoff. I think 2 is generally okay. I understand this.
You obviously cannot fix it if you have 5 Sorks in one team and one game. But then you give 2 on one team and 3 on the other team. Like, this is not hard. Every primary school kid can do this.
My God, Sarah, see? So
Please
toxic.
try.
Okay,
Please.
so we're gonna get on now to Blenny's favorite topic, vote kick.
Oh boy.
Okay, so in game update, and Shaq, if he's still here. In game update 6.14, we are removing vote kick from ranked PvP, which is where we see the greatest abuse of this feature. If we see continued abuse, we will remove it from other game modes. I would like to add that some of the original intent for vote kick, AFK players, etc., has been mitigated over the years by increased detection methods and data logging. Alright, so what are your thoughts on this, Blen?
I think that removing it without really giving a clear idea on what's replacing it is kind of...
Nothing's replacing it other than better moderation.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That is what is replacing it, the better moderation instead of vote kick. And I don't think they've really been that clear on what this better moderation is going to entail. And given previous circumstances, I think clarity would be much better.
So you think vote kick's a good mechanic?
I wouldn't say it's good, but it's not bad either.
Okay, Sarah C?
You know the opinion. I mean, it has to be removed. Full stop. Like, you cannot give players that kind of tool, especially when there's only 2 votes needed to kick a player.
Speaking of tools, Junkie, your opinion?
I could not be happier. That's all I need to say. Could not be happier.
This encourages bullying.
It leads on to my next question, right? Which is, did vote kick ever work as intended?
Well, no, because the lockout of getting vote kicked was only 5.
See, this is my entire issue with vote kick, right? I'm not against vote kick as a mechanic per se. It's just it does not fundamentally achieve the job it's trying to achieve. It's a dead mechanic. It's like fucking... I vote kicked Fifi in, I don't know, 50% of the games where they died in 10 seconds. Do you know who I got in the next game?
Fifi.
Yeah. Like, it just does not fucking work. It doesn't work
think it's
in the
just
slightest.
Because, 5 minutes isn't taking into account that each pop time is going to be about 5 minutes.
But if you make it longer, then the bullying and the harassment becomes an issue.
Yeah,
it's a dog shit mechanic because it does not work even when used properly, and if you make it worse, it'll be abused worse. I think Cersei summed it up, and I'm going to paraphrase here, was you gave power to ranked players and they're all retards.
I'm also a retard. I also kick people.
It's a nice fuck you. You know, when someone fucks you and you want to just fuck them back, it's great in that context.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's literally it. It's like a brief...
That's too much of power to have.
It's a brief feel-good moment with 0 practical implications.
And
delete it.
Especially it encourages bullying
Yeah.
My favorite one was when Kanan, rip, F in chat for Kanan, said he kicked the devil because he didn't like what he was saying on stream. And then I was like, well, okay, what if I say it on Twitter? What if I said it last week? Where do you draw the line, Captain fucking solo rank? Like, you're the police here. At what point is it acceptable?
Wait, I think you mean prom.
Oh, prom. Sorry, not Kanan. I beg your pardon.
Yeah. I was like, it took a while for me too. But
honestly, right, I thought to myself, who was a good NA operative? And that was the first name that came into my head. So I'm sorry. Yeah, Prum, beg your pardon. Prummy, Daddy Prummy. Yeah, he's rip. But when he was like, I kicked Devil because he said shit I didn't like on stream. I was like, well, fuck me, dude. You just opened a whole can of worms as to what's morally correct for kicking people.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to, whenever I brought it up, he was like, oh, you're just trying to, drag me into a conversation. And it's literally the fucking point. If you are judge, jury, and executioner of who can and can't play, you end up with the prom situation where people they don't deem worthy are kicked. And that's a horrible way of being.
Mm-hmm.
So we're all okay with kick being removed. Ish.
Yep.
Ish.
Apart from Blend.
I mean, I've done some very toxic things with kick. I think the most toxic one was when I told everyone to kick each other in whispers, so it was just me at the end of the game.
That's actually hilarious.
I fucking hate you, bloody. I actually hate you.
Thank you.
I had a similar situation the other day where I wanted to kick Stain because he was being an absolute cunt to our power tech to the point where our power tech didn't want to play anymore. So I wanted to kick him for Toxicity. And then he went mental when he realized he was being kicked. The good news is he uploaded it to YouTube as well as an example as to abuse, and I was like, what the fuck?
Abusive motherfuckers.
Well, no, but it's true. No, dude, he ruined the game. He fucking destroyed our other player to the point where he didn't want to play anymore. So we had zero chance of winning. He fucking sabotaged our fucking game. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, why not? Anyway, gear requirements is the next one.
The gear requirement is the best thing to happen to solo ranked.
Well, one second. In game update 6.14, we are adding a gear requirement of eye level 306, in addition to Valor rank 225, in order to be able to queue for solo rank PvP. So, okay, Blenny, how do you feel about these requirements?
I think that they're very good and should have been the requirements from the get-go, to be honest.
Okay, so my genuine question to you would be, Bolster puts people to 306, so what's the difference?
Because the stats you get from Bolster are just fucked.
I'm gonna interrupt real quickly before somebody actually comes up with this. 306 is amazing, but at the same time, we're not gonna see the end of your gear is shit. Oh, it's not gonna be the end of it. It's gonna be, oh yeah, I've got 306 gear, but I don't have a set piece and I don't have a tactical, but I've got 306, so fuck you.
So I believe the idea behind it, because this is something that we were all advocates of before. Blenny, if I can get a quieter keyboard or stop wanking.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. You have to make more effort to get to 306. So if you are a thrower, it's more of a disincentive to do it. I don't think the stat thing is that big of a deal, to be honest with you. I think it's just more of a incentive to not fuck with the queues. Because, boys, I cannot stress this enough. The biggest issue with ranked is the queue fuckery. Always has been and always will be.
Yeah, completely, I agree.
Okay, so we're all happy with the 306 eye level change. And my next question,
I don't think anyone's unhappy. Maybe like Hiratana, but
yeah, fuck that kid. What else would you like to see, if anything, as a prerequisite to before being able to queue for rank?
Okay, so I'm gonna dream a little bit here. So you mentioned the tactical, right?
No. I meant no
It's-
mention of tactical.
Didn't like or Junkie
Someone
mentioned
did.
set. Junkie mentioned set bonus and tactical, right?
Yeah, there isn't
I-
a requirement for that.
I think you
Yes.
should.
But that's a
think-
ropey term.
Sorry.
It's a ropey, it's a loose thing to say that set bonus and tactical, because if you want a method to shift, there may be some tactical or set bonus that works in conjunction that you don't know of.
But we were talking about not having any
Oh, none at
As a
all.
problem.
All right, okay, yeah.
because 306 doesn't
Yeah.
fight those.
Yeah.
So that's why I want to say, like, I would like to see tactical items changed, or like the interface of how you get them changed to like not being an item in your inventory anymore.
Yeah, just
but
like a talent.
Instead being like a menu,
Yeah.
like a skill tree or whatever, where you can see all available tacticals in the game, and once you get them, they basically light up, and then
Yeah.
you can choose them like utilities, right?
100%. I love that idea.
That would be so great, and you could then make the requirement to have like at least one tactical tied to your discipline. If you don't have that, you cannot queue for ranked.
But there may be tacticals that aren't tied that have unintentional consequences, and that would stifle player ingenuity. Do you know what I mean? Just to play devil's advocate here.
Yeah, I know, but I know there is Life Warden and there is other like neutral tacticals that might be better anyway, but still, I think that would be also like not too much of an effort to ask for.
I
If you
think
want to queue ranked with Discipline X, you need at least one tactical of Discipline X to be allowed to.
I would say that that's a great idea, just purely from the interface point of view. I think having an extra tab to select set bonus, because you get achievements when you unlock a full set.
Yeah.
It says you've
Yeah.
now got this. So why can't you have on the key, but the spec thing, have it on there where you drop down
exactly.
and just select it. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of that. I just think that's a better way of doing it rather than carrying around 18 sets of fucking armor.
Yeah, and tacticals, like they're the most annoying. Also, you have to like send them between your rep and imp characters, right?
Yeah.
These tacticals, they fill up your legacy bank. It's so annoying.
Yeah. No, I agree. I 100% agree.
But like, yeah, that's kind of dreaming. Like they needed to rework that first.
Yeah, but if
which
they do
affects
that,
all
though,
game modes. But if they do that, it's an easy way to fix the next requirement
and it
issue,
also leads in very nicely to a respec button where you just save loadouts.
Oh, of course, please.
So
Yeah,
like
load up
the
profiles.
drop down you have where it says like concealment, lethality, medicine. You could, if you had say it's a 4 wide tab, one is set bonus, one is tactical, and then the other one would be loadout 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like, a lot like that. That would work too. Be good change actually.
Snave, around 1 or 2 weeks ago, I was like away for the weekend and didn't stream in like almost a week. I queued on Sunday night, operative DPS. During my full stream, 4 or 5 hours, I didn't have the shorter hard stun cooldown, and I didn't notice. That wouldn't happen with a prerequisite, dude.
God bless you, buddy. Sorry, apparently someone in my chat is telling me that this should be in the chit chat category. It's some fat nerd guy, so give me 1 second, boys. I gotta just update this quickly, so I don't get banned. I don't want to be a dickhead here.
Oh, you need to change to just chatting. I see.
Yeah. No, wait. I don't. But give me 1 second. I'll just fix this real quick right now. You don't want to affect my T500? Oh, dude, just fuck off. Jesus Christ, you're clearly a fucking bellend. Where's my monitor capture? Here we go. All right, boys. We've got some hot Minesweeper action going on here. Fuck.
Beautiful.
Here we go. fuck! I died. Jesus Christ! All right, thank you. There's your gaming content. I beg your pardon. Hopefully that satiates you, but looking at you, nothing than 18 pizzas would satiate.
Jesus Christ.
That's a really interesting set on the cartel market.
Thanks. God, I completely forgot what we're talking about.
Nice launcher, Steve.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
I've forgotten.
Toxicity, yeah. So, no,
Legacy Ignore.
Legacy
would be
Ignore is the next thing. Yeah, let me just scroll down here. We did the reporting. We did vote kick. We had gear. So Legacy Ignore. Does anyone care?
We should have been there in the first place. Don't
Yeah.
care.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, same.
Down.
Good,
Yep.
good change.
I think the only implication for this change is now it's easier to find people by Legacy, which was apparently a huge issue for like 8 people on the forums. So I guess that's why it never happened.
I guess I'm just not going to be able to speak to anybody in game anymore.
My favorite excuse was they said streamers will be targeted by this. Like, fuck off.
Oh
no! What a shame! Everyone's going to ignore me.
No, but it's who the fuck cares? Like,
yeah, I know. Yeah.
Just if look, let me give you guys a real easy, loose, juicy breakdown. If you stream the game or any game, you open yourself up to a multitude of bullshit. Is that fair? No. Is it right? No. It is what it is. Just accept it or don't. It's up to you if you want to press the start streaming button. If you don't want it, then don't do it. There you go. It's a lot like karaoke.
I don't know how like a streamer could ever be affected by it anyway. Like, what could it?
It's to do with detecting alts is the idea. Now it's already in the game in terms of like legacy and lore on strongholds, but the idea behind it was sometimes streamers or famous air quotes people don't want to know who you are, and you can work it out by that.
Oh,
I think that's something that should be in ranked in the first place. I think it's a terrible thing that players can hide themselves with like no-name tunes.
I think legacy
if you
should
want
be detectable, to be honest. I think it should be
if
displayed.
you want to play ranked, be competitive.
Yeah, 100%.
You need to be like, people should know who you are, right?
Yeah, 100%. I do not disagree with you. I think everyone's legacy should be public. You should know exactly who the fuck it is. In fact, I think they should have an armory website where you can look up everyone on the same fucking account.
Yeah, true.
But
why not?
I like having tunes that nobody knows because then they don't realize I'm shit and they don't follow me first.
Yeah, and the other way around, like a good player can repeat that process of getting discovered and getting praised. This sim is really good.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to move on to the next topic because Banana Man's upset that I'm taking up too much of Ceres's time. With all of these changes coming, do we think the meta in team ranked, solo ranked will be affected?
Team ranked will still be double power tech. Juggernaut solo ranked won't change.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, pretty much. Like team ranked will just. I mean, the biggest difference is team ranked will pop. So.
Yeah,
okay, well, we'll segue on to the next one nicely since everyone agrees. Will the new mats bring back the glory days of team rank?
No.
we might get new glory days. But we will see.
I think I'm going to be optimistic for a change and say yes, it will.
And how do we see players responding to the new incentive to play?
Pessimistically, just like
how do you think it plays out, Junkie? So like the way that I see it is I foresee a bunch of people trying to queue up at weird times to get games together. I think
honest. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, carry on, buddy.
I just feel like I think it's just gonna be. I think it might actually be better than we think it might be. Yeah, obviously you're gonna get the
I genuinely think it will. Yeah, 100%.
yeah, we're gonna get some of those, right? But hopefully BioWare has brains and they detect that shit. But I honestly think like it could actually do some good. Like I think if we get enough people queuing for Team Rank because they all want that shitty fucking map that I don't give a fuck about, right? Then like if they all queue for it, then maybe we'll actually get brackets in Team Ranked. Imagine that, and then
So
good
this
teams
is how
play
I see
good
it,
teams.
right? How else do you draw people to Team Ranked, and how else do you encourage the right type of behavior? So, for the bazillionth time, motivation works in two ways: attention and correct behavior. You have to incentivize both things. Having attention enough will often lead to the wrong behavior. Like, for example, if it was a loss, you just can lose 10 times, then everyone just slash stacks at the start of the game.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's win-based and the fact the incentive is juicy as fuck means, in my opinion, everyone at least has to try a little bit.
Yeah.
And a little bit is the first step to a lot.
I think I might even try and find another 3 other shit players just as
We
bad as
can do a
me,
stream
and-
team, Junkie. Me, you, Saracy, and Shaq.
I mean, we can't have Saracy, mate. He's too good for us.
No, that's why we need Saracy.
Well, Snave beat Krelton in season 9.
Yeah, but Krelton's shit, so you know. Yeah.
And guess who
thanks, Junkie.
Sarasti's on a team with?
Wait, what?
Sarasti's got Krelton on his team.
Yeah, but like we'll beat Saracy. We don't need
easy.
him. Like that's what I'm saying. Is me and Snave, we'll just go in as a duo. We don't even need another 2. We can just take everyone. That's fine.
I used to enter team ranked solo.
Snave can give me the sweet operative off heals, and I can give him the sweet PT guard that's gonna.
I'm frantically trying to relearn fucking lethality operative.
It's easy. Dot spread.
Yeah, no, it's like genuinely.
It's actually easy, yeah.
Like lethality op is good in team rank. So
you know what?
If I expect a seat at the table, then I need to play lethality.
I mean, you know what? If you learn lethality, I will find 2 other people to come with us, and we will do pyro.
Junkie, with all due respect, if I'm going to learn lethality, I'm going to get fucking Chili or some of the carry. Not.
Wow, dude. Wow. See, look, I just said I'd make a team with you, and you just said, "Fuck you, mate. You're not good enough. I don't want you."
I said with all due respect, though.
You toxic motherfucker.
Junkie, I said with all due respect, and I'm pretty sure that is, if you say that, then you're immune to criticism.
Okay. Okay. Obviously.
So with all due respect, stop being a cunt. With all due respect.
No, honestly.
You have a small willy.
For team rank in general, like it's PT centered, yes, but still, like double PT also has disadvantages that you can play around.
Yeah,
you don't have to play double PT; you can counter it.
Yeah.
Double chopped pieces jug.
It's just the 3-head way to play double PT. It's good.
Yeah.
All right, boys. This is what's going to go down, right? Me, Blenny, Saracy, and Junkie are going to make a team. Saracy on PT. Sorry, Saracy on Op Healer. Blenny on PT. Junkie on PT. Me on Lethality.
Oh yeah.
You don't want to tank or?
Yeah, who's tanking this?
I'm 1.9k elo.
Blenny is clearly tanking.
Oh well, I guess Blenny's tanking then on his PT.
That's what's going to happen. It's going to be called the COVID Nation. Well, the reason it's called the reason it's called COVID Nation is because if you aren't 6 feet apart, you'll get cleaved.
Oh yeah.
So social distance. Social
Big
distance.
brain Snave. Holy shit.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that wraps up all the topics for this evening. I would like to sincerely thank everyone. Blenny, thank you for not getting me banned. I have no idea why anyone thought it'd be controversial. You were nothing but a pinnacle of politeness and mannerisms right here.
Yeah, I'm always polite.
Fuck you, Blenny.
Yeah, Blenny, piece of shit. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Saracy, get involved here. Don't
advice.
call him Saracy. Is streamers bullying a person? Fuck you, Blenny.
Yeah, I'm a streamer. My average view is like higher than yours now, Snave.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, wow.
Are you fucking serious?
Yeah, I'm getting like
In
70
fact,
views.
I don't think it is. If you do it over 12 months, I don't think it is.
Yeah, well, I'm not doing it for 12 months. I'm doing it over 2 days because that's how long I've been streaming.
Sarah C, any closing words?
About the wish list.
About anything? Or your wish list? Anything at all?
I have the same wish as last time.
Which
Fix
is?
the fucking scoreboard colors on Sork and Sin, please.
What's wrong with them?
They are swapped. Still.
Oh,
Since,
yeah,
like,
they are,
2
aren't
or
they?
3 years, I don't know. Well, that's a small thing.
No, that's big. That's what's killing Soso currently.
Yeah, that's what's killing Swoto ranked. For sure.
Lenny, any wish lists?
Snave, would you like to play regs with me?
Yes.
Cool.
Junkie?
I have one wish, and that's to make that Cerasi jam disappear.
Someone in chat did a Cerasi jam, so I changed it.
Yeah,
It's kind of like hypnotic.
I actually, you know what? I have one actual wish list for SWOTOR.
Okay.
Remove pigtails from the game, please.
Wow.
Hey.
Wow.
Just remove pigtails. Just delete them.
Junkie?
Right?
Junkie.
Yes.
Not everything in life can be removed as easily as your grey hair with Just for Men. Okay.
Hey, look, dude, this is going to be blonde next week. Fuck you.
It's pretty much blonde now. I mean, it's transparent.
All right. Fuck's sake, man. All right,
Yeah.
Miss Junkers, calm your fucking tits.
All right, boys, I will leave you with this bombshell before I go for a piss and grab another drink and then play some rags. URC is this Friday. It is on a Friday rather than a Saturday because Shaq's an idiot and he's a bellend. I fucking hate him for making it be on a Friday rather than a Saturday. But it is literally in 2 days' time. There are some spots left if anyone wants them. There's not many, so if you want to sign up, you can do it on my Discord or you can do it on the forums. You can do it whenever. In summary, I love you and I will see you on Friday.